Incubation Conclave in the beautiful city of Gwalior. In the second technical session, we all will be discussing on the topic Emerging Research-led Startup and Innovation in CSID in the Amrit Car. In this session, our speakers are Professor H.M. Gupta, retired professor at IIT Delhi, Mr. Dinesh Kund, who will be joining us online, CEO of VISKAP, Dr. Mani Madhukar, Program Manager at Global University Programs, IBM India Private Limited, Mr. Jay Narayan, Mr. Harshad Joshi, who will be joining us online, and our program and session coordinator is Professor Mahua Bhattacharya ma'am. I would request all the dignitaries to please come upon the stage and take their seats. Sir, please come forward. Welcoming all the respected and honorable speakers, we would start with our first speaker, that is Professor Hari Mohan Gupta. Professor Hari Mohan Gupta sir received his BE degree Electronics and Communication from University of Roorkee, now IIT Roorkee, his MTech from IIT Kharagpur and PhD degree from IIT Kanpur. He joined the Department of Electrical Engineering at IIT Delhi in 1973, where he became a professor in 1986. He held Professor HAG, Emeritus Professor and Chair Professorship positions at IIT Delhi. He has been Dean, Undergraduate Studies and the Head of Department at IIT Delhi. He was the founding coordinating head of Bharati School of Telecommunication Technology and Management at IIT Delhi, the first industrially sponsored school at IIT Delhi. Professor Gupta held full-time faculty positions at McGill University, Montreal, Canada, and Drexel University, Philadelphia, USA. He has been summer visiting professor at University of Maryland, College Park, USA, Massachusetts, Institute of Technology, Cambridge, USA, Swiss Federal Institute of Technology, Lausanne, Switzerland, Helsinki University of Technology, Finland, SKT University, Suwon, South Korea, and several British universities. He was recognized as distinguished professional engineer at 13th National Convention of Computer Engineers in 1998 and as an eminent engineer by Institutions of Engineer in 2012. He held adjunct professional position at Indian Institute of Technology (IIT), Jammu, IIT Ropar, IIT Jodhpur, and Indian Institute of Information Technology and Management (IITM) Gwalior. His academic and research interests are telecommunication systems and policies, computer communication network, mobile computing and network, multimedia information processing, and photonic information systems and network. He is a fellow of Institutions of Communication Engineers and Information Technologists, ICIT, fellow of Institutions of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineers, fellow of Institutions of Engineer, and fellow of Computer Society of India. He has been the council member of IETE, Vice President of System Society of India, Chairman of Data Communication Division of CSI, President of Information and Communication Division of Indian Science Congress Association, and a founder member of Association for Security of Information Systems. He was India's representative in Indian International Federation for Information Processing Committee on Communication. Currently, he is President of Institutions of Communication Engineers and Information Technologists. He has been a member of the Board of Governors of IIT Delhi. He served on many committees such as Education and Research Network Establishment Committee, Networking Committee of National Mission on Education through ICT. I welcome you, sir, to please come forward and share your views on the topic. You will be getting 10 minutes to speak on the topic.
My sincere thanks to the event managers for inviting me here and giving me opportunity once again to talk to you from the podium here. Possibly I have talked from here 4 or 5 times, maybe more than that. So today I am going to talk about the research and information and communication technology. Reason being that I am very close to ICT. So therefore, and certainly having been in academics, the research has been the integral part. So I try to combine them in some fashion. In given 10 minutes time. Okay. So I think that without going into all these kind of stuff, let me tell you the few things. First thing that the information and communication technology essentially is three-part process. The first part is the data gathering, the second part is data transmission and distribution, and third part is data processing, including visualization. All these three combined together create the ICTs, basically. All other things are shells over it, like security and things like that. They are shell. Okay. And let's also talk about the research part of it. The two important words, research and innovation, they come together. The innovation is essentially the process which is already there, trying to perform the task using some better technique. So it's some kind of an incremental kind of a situation where you have XYZ technique is there, you tweak it a little bit here and there, and it performs very efficiently. That's what basically is innovation. And in Indian language, jugaad is one thing, okay, which is the high quality innovation. Okay. The many times people confuse innovation with invention, okay, even though they are overlapping in certain sense. The innovation basically means that some existing phenomenon or existing designs are there. And then after that, what you try to do is for a given situation, you alter it substantially. And that is what would be the innovation. Or something because already not there, and given the physical processes you have realized it. That would be then we call the innovation. So we will discuss these things in next 10 minutes in some way or the other. So research is the systematic investigation into the study of materials and sources in order to establish facts and reach new conclusions. That's what basically is expected of high quality research. Unless we have created a new conclusions, we will not call it research. Okay. So it involves investigation, experimentation, testing, exploration, all these kind of things are required there. Not all of them, maybe some of them in some fashion. We will not go for that dictionary. Okay, ICTs I have already said. Only important part here I would like to say, the second part, that we want everything to be done. The data processing, gathering, distribution in a very authentic, reliable, and usable fashion, so that we meet the required quality of service parameters. For example, if I am talking to you, then my transmission system should be such that you should be able to understand what I am saying. That's what basically would be the part which is quality of service part. There. We will not go to the history part. I will give that example a little later. Okay. This also will not talk right now. We say data. Now this is what you are seeing here in the data. Several balls are there, those kind of things are there, and then for you it's all balls, basically. Nothing else more than that. Now to convert them to this kind of a specialized data, we have to specify the color, the category, the condition, the diameter, the price. If all these things are combined together, then we have created the information which is usable information. that kind of a thing. Okay. So therefore, and then on the top of it, once you have such aggregation of information, then you try to look at the trend and try to get some kind of a knowledge out of it. Okay. So we say the knowledge is the use and application of information, basically, which people can actually use and interpret. That's an important part. Okay. And so it involves many things like education, information, solutions, analysis, learning. All these things are combined together to create the knowledge. So now what we do that we have this kind of a famous DIKW layering, which is almost known to everyone. Lowest level is the data, then you have the information, then you have created the knowledge, and on the top of it is the wisdom. In the sense that after looking at information for several years or decades, you say, in the month of summer, this is likely to happen. This is because we have all the information left behind it, you have interpreted it there. Those kind of a thing. What we call the conventional wisdom. Okay. Sometimes the wisdom is enhanced now further. And especially when you start talking in today's language, when you have the machine learning and artificial intelligence, then the wisdom part becomes all the more important. That machine should not be more wise than human being. That's our aim. Machine can be wise, but should not be more wise than us. Problem would be there otherwise. Okay. So moving further. Oh, it's nearby. How much near I should go? Still, it's not. Check for me. It moves. So sorry for interruption. Okay. Now it's moving. There was some problem there, right? Okay. So we say that knowledge to wisdom basically is decision making in view of the available knowledge. That's what basically you say. For example, if you go to a farmer and it's a month, some XY month is there, then that person has that wisdom that I should sow this kind of crop. That is what would be conventional wisdom. Okay. That is what has been created over the years or decades or centuries. Okay. So it's a multiple types of interactions between the human being through devices. That is what basically we say is the knowledge generation process. Okay. Now the question is that knowledge generation can be done. One aspect, not all the aspects, is through directed research and experimental growth in academic institutions. Why I am saying that yesterday only I was reading Indian Express and Government of India has allocated 76,000 crore rupees for semiconductor mission to create the chips in this country, fabricate. And the head of the semiconductor mission says that there is not enough research available in this country, and then the professors are supposed to be thought processes, thought leaders in this regime, semiconductor regime. So technically, what the industry says that you create the wisdom or the knowledge or the research, and we use it, which is what we lacking. Only thing what the industry doesn't say at this point of a time, who funds this research? Okay, that's an important part. Academics are always the money poor persons. Okay. So I have written few motivational part here. The only thing which I have put in the red is that once you start doing certain kind of research, the whole thing is that a new person just comes in a particular area. Then he or she looks at the literature or information. Huge amount of information is there, circuit of literature. You just don't know that what is to choose, what is not to choose. That's the kind of information filtering. That's an important part. That's the first part that one has to tackle in some way or the other. And information and communication technology is really useful in that, in classifying that kind of information. To some extent, not to the all extent, to some extent. Other thing is that there is a information islanding. What it means that after a certain number of years, a person becomes a specialist on some particular kind of a thing. For example, a doctor can become a specialist on ear only. But he says that I just don't know anything except ear. Okay. That is what basically means information islanding. Okay. That is, you become an island. So you become disconnected. That is what basically is one of the problems in research which needs to be tackled in some way or the other. Okay. The problem is that the persons they start working around the loop, around the leaf in the tree. So you forget that what the roots are. That therefrom that information or area has generated. That is what they tend to lose. That is where the problem starts, that you then will have a very tunnel vision of a particular research, not the very kind of a research which is applicable to the industry or where from the problem started. So we just don't go there further. We all know that we have to do the experimentation, we have to do the data analysis, the modeling, all kind of a thing. But one thing is that whether you do X research or Y research or Z research, you should keep in mind that three important terms we use in technology. That almost all systems in the world are non-linear. All systems of the world are stochastic, that is randomly varying. There's nothing very straight. Okay? And then all things in the world are complex. We may assume it them to be simple by modeling, but all these three parameters are there. So how do you handle the complexity? How do you measure the randomness? And how do you incorporate randomness? And how do you tackle the non-linearity? All these three things are important. Okay. In a life, nothing is linear. You cannot say that at that moment, if I have done this thing, that thing will happen this way. Only, nothing else. I am talking in context of science and technology research. Okay. Then I think types of research I should forget in the given time. I should not talk about it. It could be applied research, it could be descriptive research, it could be quantitative research. All kinds of research parameters are there. Exploratory research are there, in which nothing was known. You first time do something. Okay. Then I would like to share with you an important part, which I think that this part I am skipping for myself. Okay. Uh, Non-experimental, quasi-experimental, deductive, inductive, hypothetical. Okay. Uh, then the primary research and the secondary research. That kind of thing. Okay. If you collect your data yourself, by whatever means, and try to come to the conclusion, it is primary research. If you use somebody else's data, it becomes a secondary research. That kind of thing. And there are pluses and minuses of both. The plus side is from doing your own research is that you know all the technology and develop the new technology and techniques. While the secondary means that somebody else has done work for you. That kind of thing. And you will not have that kind of expertise with you. Okay. Now we will not talk about this. I will like to give you only 2-3 stories. That's it. Okay. No point. See, what really happens is that if you have to do a very large scale experimentation, you may not be able to do. Because, for example, I want to do the research in spacecraft, so I will not have the institution here. What I have the tool is the simulation tool. And that simulation tool has to be a true simulator, that whatever is likely to happen, actually I have already seen through my machine. That kind of a thing. For example, in Chandrayaan mission, if you have seen there, the last moment when trajectory was there, the spacecraft was following, lander was following exactly the same trajectory, except last 20 seconds or so, when it simply stopped. became the autonomous, moved here and there, found the place, and then landed. Okay. That means that our simulation was so perfect. Okay. And the programs were so perfect. That was the kind of thing. So simulations have to be true. And for making simulation true, a simulation tool can be 100 rupees. A simulation tool can be 10 crore rupees. Okay. That is simply because of what kind of complexities they have done. For your kind information in ISRO, I was talking to the deputy director, there were deputy directors there. He said that before any launch, they do something like 36,000 reliability tests. 36,000. And none of them should fail. Okay. It takes about 2 years of simulation. Then, okay, now I say something last thing, random walk in research. Research is not a very straight kind of a thing. Okay. You think something very correct, but the existing culture doesn't accept it. Galileo is an example. First example which is there in scientific research. Okay. Then ICT context, Shannon's information theory is one context. And it's little story here that in communication system we always say we will make our receiver best, cut the noise at the receiver end. The Shannon said, no, we will make a transmitter so perfect that under whatever noise is there in the system, it will take care of it. That is transmitter optimization. It was not known that time. Everybody said, Shannon, you are a first class fool. Hey, he did a master's from MIT, doctorate from MIT, and his own supervisor thrown out his paper, saying that it's useless. Okay. And then he found a professor at University of Illinois, Warren Weaver, who looked at it, he said it's a great idea. And then he presented like I am presenting, he presented in a conference, Shannon was sitting there, everybody clapped, he said it's not my idea, it's Shannon's idea. And information theory was born. That is how we code the signals now. And we are able to receive the signals from far away spacecraft exactly in the same fashion that they have been captured there. And please remember that the order of noise is about 24 times more than signal. So it is essentially you are receiving noise and then extracting the signal out of it. That is Shannon's contribution. Okay. Second thing is the Danish Gabor is a very well-known name in the area of signal processing and things like that. He looked at some experimentation and he saw some other image. He said it's a hologram. In 1947, everybody said, Professor, Gabor, only you are the person who can see that image, nobody else can see. He said, given the correct amount of light and correct type of light, it will be there. Laser was born, and then holograms were seen immediately. He got 1970 Nobel Prize. So it takes time. Okay. So that's what I say, research takes time, RPT. Okay. Invention of transistors, 10 years. 1939 to 1948, something like that. Okay. And in 1947, 46, it was a big review where they were thinking to stop the program because it had consumed $8 billion. But then the Bell Labs had said, no, we have spent this much, let us spend a little more. And then it was born. So the whole electronics changed. Electronics changed. Okay, the research cycle, my theory and my observation is there is always a technology revisit. Whatever we have forgotten 100 years ago is once again coming in form of new technology. Okay. Two examples, what we say that nowadays girls have fashions. So what their grandmothers were using, those clothes are now fashionable now. Okay. That's the cycle. Similarly, in technology, in digital communication, we started from digital, telegraph, on and off. Then telephone, analog. We forgot about digital part. 1837 was digital telegraph. 1876 was Alexander Graham Bell's telephone. Electronics was invented in 1906. And then in 1937, we got again digital communication in electronic form. 100-year cycle was there. So similarly, their technology limits are there. Those kind of things. Okay. So many of I can give many examples, but time is not there and not give here. What I say, imagination will be key to do the research innovation. If you see 1930 kind of a conferences, people say, will we have someday that we can walk in telephone? Now we have mobile phones. Okay. Somebody imagined it, and then people worked for that. Okay. It takes time. Okay. Similarly, more recently, in 1980s, Mark Wheeler said, can we have computer on the go? If I am here, I am running an application. If I move here, or I am moving in a train, can application run? He said, can it be done? Mobile computing. Now it is there. It is much more than that. Okay. So therefore, somebody has to imagine that. Then we have to scrutiny of research. What have you done is actually good or not? Who does it? Okay. Which group does it? It all depends upon the review procedures and where you disseminate your information. You can disseminate information in a newspaper. That's one end. You can disseminate your information in a high quality research where persons like you are looking at that and saying yes, it's acceptable or not. So big scrutiny has to be there, multiple level of scrutiny. And second thing, which group is scrutinizing? Americans scrutinizing will always favor European research or American research and Indian research or Chinese research. That kind of thing. So therefore, those biases are also there. Okay. And on the top of it, now there is an alliance that you have a plagiarism. That's there. And also retraction after that. You have copied somebody's work and said it's my work. Softwares are there now, they can detect it very easily. Recently, a Nobel laureate in chemistry was asked to retract his papers. Nobel laureate, please note that. Okay. So therefore, those kind of things are there. We engineers and scientists try to make quick claims. So we look at quick publication orders. That kind of thing. There it can be dangerous also, it can be useful also. It can give credit to you also, discredit also because you have missed out many things. Okay. So this I think we'll forget about it. Okay. And I make a statement now here. If an idea is still not clicking, move on and keep researching. Sometimes absorbing and more information or a topic may not lost. This difficult detail comes in a focus on their own. I have experienced that phenomenon that I have been working on a problem for 2 months. Found a stone wall completely, nothing happening there. But I kept on working, multiple ideas, and suddenly it clicked. So those details which I was missing came into my mind. Those kind of things. It happens with almost everyone doing research. Okay. So to conclude, researching world is challenging and fascinating. Researching is both cooperative and competitive. That's what my end statement, and thank you very much for listening. Any questions you can any time now or later.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really nice hearing from you. Next up, we have Mr. Dinesh Kund, CEO of Viscap. He will be joining us virtually in the online mode through Google Meet.
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible? I just wanted to check first.
Yes, sir, you are audible. We are strictly time bound, so you have 10 minutes to address your ideas to the gathering. You can start.
Okay. So first of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me in this session. Let me first start with my introduction, and then I will go into detail about my journey into different areas. So, as a Dinesh, I I'm the CEO and managing partner at Viscap Consultancy Services. I have a mixed experience in terms of, so my background is electrical, but in my journey, I worked into multiple MNC organizations for consulting and implementation of the services. So that's how I grow my career in terms of the different manufacturing and different industries. So at Viscap, I would like to first let me share like what we do. So we do majorly is about we help our customers helping in terms of the digital transformations. So we help them for changing from how the digital transformation help them in their organization, right from let's say if they are using any legacy solutions, any technology which we concern them right from the discovery, and then we understand the business processes, and we help them to analyze and understand like by having that digital transformation journey, what are the benefits will be there in terms of let's say if they have a digital transformation journey, then it will have an impact in terms of the transparency across the organization. It improves the efficiency and it gives a lot of visibility in terms of the data. So at Vista, we do more in terms of the transformation journey for all our customers where they get the benefit eventually in terms of the analytics and based on the analytics, the real-time data, they can take the informed decisions and it helps them for the future business decisions and some expansion plan as well. So in my journey, so I would like to share more in terms of from a startup point of view, because when I was into services, I started my career with electrical engineer, and I was working into multiple organizations for having a some initial part. It was more in terms of the domain expertise. So I worked into multiple industries for the from a domain perspective. But after immediately, I was mostly involved into multiple organizations where we were having some transformations going on. So I was part of the transformations in terms of legacy system they were using and how now they were trying to change to the new modernized technology. And in that journey, I was having my role was more in terms of the discovery, and then we had our my particular organization to implement best business practices, right? So eventually, all the organization requires to implement best business practices. The reason is that any organization, when they start business, they start with some small or small solutions like in the different areas, like from a CRM, from a ERPs, and from a accounting system, so many things. But as the organization grows, they really require a robust technology which has them for managing their organization as a business, as a data, as an analysis, and as a decision making solutions. So, so over the period of experience, I was having parallelly in my mind about how to do something my own. So basically, I'm from Ahmedabad, Gujarat. So I was having that seed in terms of how I do my entrepreneurship journey and when I can start. So I was having that aspiration that I would like to my own business and I will be more into entrepreneurship. So see, entrepreneurship there is no particular stop or there is no particular area where we do a start, right? Something sometimes some entrepreneurs get a chance and opportunity to do in the beginning. Some people may take some experience and then go into the a business or into entrepreneurship, right? So in my journey, around 50, after 15 years of my experience into the consulting and business experience, we decided that I will go into business. And so and we started in 2020, January 2020. So January 2020 was like a year where we started our business. Unfortunately, at that time, within 2 or 3 months, we faced the situation about COVID, and but somehow based on our business plan and our strategies, we were working on that. So if you see, when there is any organization starts as a startup, there are multiple challenges. Okay, so if I see challenges when we started as an organization, there was a multiple areas, and every department there would be a little bit, and some department would have a maximum. So if I see majorly, the situation was like when we started and there was a COVID. So it was a very big problem to solve, and somehow we planned our strategy in terms of how first we decided how we continue acquiring our customers. So when you are startup and when you are into such a situation, and we do not have a much customers as a reference, or customer as a to show to the customers, it is really a strategic and very well thought procedure where we have to ensure how we build the trust into the customer, so we get the business, right? So first of all, very important, the challenges was especially to COVID was in terms of business development. And in business development, we planned a different strategy for the domestic market, some strategy for the international market as well. And somehow some of the strategies went very well, and we could take off from continuously from that from that areas. Apart from business development, we also faced many things in terms of resources, because we are into service business. In services, we need a good and very specialized experts, some solutions experts, talent. So finding a talent and retaining a talent was another challenge as an organization, where we have played different strategies for our employees, right from onboarding till the operations on a daily basis, and then how we ensure was that in terms of we are giving the freedom to them in terms of like you can work from home, and then same time if there is a possibility we have a regular meetings on virtually, and somehow we try to connect it and try to work as a one team, because that era was something where the turbulence was very high. So to ensure that we have a regular and consistent service to our customers to whom we acquire and we start consulting services, we require to have a consistent team as well. And for that we have worked on multiple areas to how we retain the employees from a motivations, from a different work assignments. We change some work assignment in between in terms of some technology wise, some area wise, different ways. So similarly, the third area, which was more in terms of the scalability. As a startup, when you grow and we have some business coming in, so we started with 4 employees, and as we were growing, within a year, we were almost 25 employees. And then after 25 employees, we were facing some more different challenges in terms of the scalability from infrastructure, from different internal team management, and same time we have to work on the business, bringing the business. So at this I'm trying to share my perspective as an entrepreneur. What the scenarios we have to taking picture is like a 360-degree. We cannot only have one area, like we just focus in the business, or we cannot only have we can just focus into the delivery side. So we have to focus in a 360-degree, ensuring that we have all the departments runs in a sync, and we have a successful outcome and the growth of the organization. So there are multiple other areas which we also try to tackle as a challenges. So somehow, as we have put a lot of efforts initially, and we got a lot of customers. Within 1 year, we got almost 15 customers, and we reach more than 25 employees organization. And as we grow, the scalability point of view, we had to expand in a different geography as well. So we expanded into multiple geographies right from the Gujarat and other states as well as we also plan for the international market. So eventually, the thing is that right as we are scaling up the business, the opportunities are there. So as an organization, we are still seeing a lot of opportunity because every organization has a now opportunity from their particular business because India is growing and each industry is also growing. And the industry what we are into, especially into consulting business, where we help the organization to transform them digitally. And we know every day today we are talking about the technology, IT, lot of things in terms of the different transformations going on. The companies also are growing right from the small turnover to the bigger number of turnover, and then it goes to the like in the IPO level, and then they will get into the PSC and NSE exchange as well. So when they are into the journey, we help customers to optimize their business processes and we see as an opportunity in India as India is growing. And yesterday was only I was listening from one of the news that Mr. Modi said that so India will be going to be a largest part economy in next 5 6 years, right? So eventually we see that there are a lot of growth in India within India itself because each and every organization is growing and they are getting very big business and eventually they need to scale. And if every our customers need to scale, we need to help them uh, how they become more productive, how they become more like as an organization across the department, how it can be more transparent, transparency in terms of the data. And we see eventually every organization today they need a data and they need data to analyze. So when we implement and when we help organization, we try to capture data from different tools. Like there are different ERPs, there are CRMs, there are some other IoT solutions, some AI solutions. But eventually, all these things will reside into data, and this data need to do analytics. And that data analytics will help organization at every department, at every level, to the even to the management level for decision making. So if we see as an organization, we see tremendous opportunity into within India only because each and every organization has a need of these transformations, and that's why we are also scaling up today. After 3 years, we are almost 100 employee organization, and eventually now we have registered our business into international market as well. So if you see, eventually, when we are scaling up, now we also need more technology to help our business. Okay, so as we are helping to our customers, but as an entrepreneur, as a business, we also need to see that how technology help to scale our business. It right from the different solutions, right from the HR activities where we need to implement different services and the solutions. So eventually, today in our organization also we use different solutions, including even AI solutions. Like when we do the recruitment, we have some nice tools which help us proactive suggestions in terms of as per the job description, who is the right candidate fit for you. So instead of let's say earlier we used to have more recruiters, but now today we have a very less recruiter, but the same kind of the employees are getting onboarded. So AI is helping very well in current our expansion and scaling right from the recruitment point of view because as we are growing year on year, every month we have almost average 10 to 12 onboardings going on. So eventually this is a volume increasing and the technology we are going to take an advantage. Similarly, we are also having integrated solutions which we use from an operation point of view. So we have an implementation, we have maintenance and services of our whatever the solutions we implement to our customer and help them for the benefits, right? So for our internal operation point of view and productivity, we have different tools which help us to give a real-time information and that real-time information helps us to analyze whether we are on track or some customer-wise if there is any data which showing something to do improvements. So without technology nowadays we can't do all these things. And luckily we because we had that earlier experience, we maintained our discipline to implement technology and the solutions right from the beginning when we have our journey growing right from the beginning. So today, if you ask me, most of the informations we keep on a fingertip is available for any informed decision as well as some analytics. So overall, today we are that entire organization, and in next 2 to 3 years we are going to go with the short-term goals, and then we have long-term goals as well. So from 100 to within 2 to 3 years we are going to reach to 250, and even expecting more as well. So that's how we have our journey from my overall right from the entrepreneurship after my experience into the industry. So when I had experience, it was helping me somewhere for my business development activity. But when we see when you are a fresh startup, then there are different strategy we could play. So at Westcare, in my organization, this is how I have faced some challenges, and then with the help of the technology, some solutions. And today we see different opportunities in the market as well, because the kind of business what we are into, which is more into transformations, and the transformation is going to is India is transforming, so this business opportunities are there. I would say it's the next 10 to 20 years definitely all the transformations is going to happen continuously, and we are also getting equipped as technology is coming into the market. So this is something which I wanted to share with the especially from the startups and the students, those who can understand and maybe take some references as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really nice hearing from you. Moving further,
Thank you.
I invite Dr. Mani Madhukar, sir, Program Manager at Global University Programs, IBM India Private Limited, to come forward on the diocese and share his views on the topic.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to do a quick demo, and the demo stems from the fact that, being a startup founder myself, I have two startups, that I'm part of as a co-founder. And I completely understand, right, how difficult is it, for a startup to really, plan their approach, the way they do things, right? And being a researcher, again, you will agree with the point that it's not easy to do a research as well, right? So it's really important that uh, you know uh, you need to pivot from whatever course of things that you may have planned, right? And I'll just take a quick demo to elaborate my point for that matter, right? And this is about AI because a lot of people have been talking about AI, and I'm gonna do something. Please do not bother, if you are not familiar with this. But I just want to set a context that I'm going to. A lot of people over here typically are familiar with machine learning, creating models, training, all of that stuff, right? So I'm sure most of you would be familiar with what it takes to get a data set, clean a data set, train a machine learning model, and then maybe, put some sample data on it and something around that, right? And once you get the results, you understand, oh, this is not what accuracy I would have really wanted and all that, right? So this typical process of identifying the right machine learning algorithm, whether you're doing a classification or a regression, may take a few weeks, months, just to get the best fit, right? What I'm going to do for you is I'm going to elaborate a simple example how it is really important from a startup's point of view to quickly fail. It's really important to quickly fail rather than dragging and then pivot from where you are. So what I've simply done is I've given this whatever you see there. I've given it a data set. I've given it a data set which is a banking and finance data about some banking customers who have taken some loan from a bank, right? That's my data set. and I want to predict, see this, what do you want to predict? I want to predict whether a particular person would be able to repay the loan or not. It's a very simple, otherwise than algorithm, and I can actually do it with a. I'm sure a lot of you will be familiar with Chat GPT, generative AI capabilities and all, right? So I'm not going into that space. This is just automation of AI space, by the way, right? So the moment I give the data set to the service, it is typically telling me you should do a binary classification if you're doing a fraud risk, right? Having said that, I can always go back and I can change various types of classification, regression, whatever I want to do, with this data. Not just this much, I can actually tell what would be my measure of accuracy, if I want to do anything. What algorithms do I want to leave into this or leave out of my, evaluation? And this approach will actually give me best two algorithms out of almost like 30 plus algorithms available if you're talking about classification, right? And then I can go on and say I want top four, I want only first or whatever, right? I can do all of that. But I'm not getting into the nitty gritty of all of this over here. I simply want to you to cherish this approach of doing machine learning, maybe, right? So I haven't done anything. I'm not even doing anything. My hands are here. I've not written a single line of code. I've simply basically given a data set to a particular service available on cloud, and I'm not doing anything. What is happening in the background is what I can quickly explain to you, right? Because as I said, in a machine learning model, for those of you who are into research, will appreciate it takes a lot of time getting to the journey of understanding the right algorithm, right? How do you clean the data, removing all those duplicates from that data set, getting all those missing values imputed, all of that stuff is like huge painstaking process, right? I have also given it a plain simple data set. I've not cleaned any data set. I've just given it a CSV file to it. And I have let the system to do something, right? So you can see that it's right now I'm ingesting my data set, the data set which I've given to it, right? It can, by the way, ingest up to 20 GB of a data within this, no time, whatever I'm showing to you. But this is a small data set that's right now there, as you see here. So it's a bit slow because I'm using my mobile's Wi-Fi, but it's worth the. Anybody familiar with something called as auto AI in this room? Or AI for AI? How do you automate the process of AI even itself? I'm sure a lot of you who are into academia would be doing that. A lot of research would have happened in this. I'm just giving you a demo, by the way, right? So, anybody familiar with these kinds of? Anybody familiar with what's in a studio, by the way? Heard about it? What's an X? Anybody familiar? Okay, if not, then what's in a studio is IBM's what's an X is basically IBM's generative AI offering, right? So right from prompt engineering to whatever you can do with generative AI, right? All of those capabilities are under that hood, one single hood. Okay. So right now it's running my data set against all the possible algorithms, classification algorithms on its own, right? I'm not doing anything here. So Watson X basically is again having three pillars: Watson X.ai, then .data, then .governance. Because we talk about data lakes today, right? We are no longer in that old world where there is some silos of data available which you have to play with. No, that's no longer the case. Today AI is more about governance. Today AI is more about transparency, right? Whether you're using it in startup-based systems or using it in enterprise, wherever you talk about. Now it's doing something on its own in the background, and I'll do it, and I'll just explain to you in 2 minutes about what it is doing. So of all the possible classification algorithms, it identified the top two algorithms. So one is LGBM classifier, the other is snap random forest classifier, right? With the snap random forest classifier, it was able to achieve 93.3% accuracy, as you can see, right? With the LGBM classifier, it's been able to obtain 93.1% accuracy, right? But that's not all. That's the vanilla flavor, right? What it is actually doing is going beyond that and trying to add some more layer of, bagging, boosting, some more, trying to improvise on the results. So if you see here, it's done a hyperparameter optimization, it's done a feature engineering automatically, and it is done again at that. And by that, all of this, it's been able to get a better accuracy of 24.3 from 93.3, right? An accuracy increase of 91%, right? But then that's not the best part. So if I'm a researcher or if I'm a startup, right, it gives me a good baseline to start, to work on my problem statement. So I don't waste my 6 months just to understand, which route should I be taking into, right? And the good piece is, if I'm a student like you, I can actually publish this model as a web service on cloud where anybody or everybody can consume it in their research work, right? So I can put this web service as a link on my research paper, let people consume it with their data set. I get my citations to my research, people get to use my paper, right? People get to use my model. And the other good piece is I can even ask the system to import the entire code base it has generated automatically for me to play with, right? So if you see here, it typically gives me a complete annotated notebook of whatever code the system is automatically generated. So if I'm a startup and I'm looking to start, working on a project, this is really a cool way for me to either fail quickly or pivot with whatever thought process I had, which is so much important from a startup's point of view. So if you see here, it gives me I have not written a single line of code, right? But then I have the entire code base available, which I can change, you play with this project, some other project, and all that. So thank you for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you, and wish you all the best. Thanks a lot. Allow me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really nice hearing from you. Moving further, I would like to invite Mr. Jay Narayan to come forward and address the audience. Mr. Jay Narayan has completed over 25 years of experience in IT industry, graduated from Delhi University and NIIT, masters from DIGRI, experience in diverse fields of education like software development, healthcare, medical, manufacturing, infrastructure management, and for last 12 years he is working and as a developing manager at Dairy Solutions. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you so much, all dignitaries. And since morning, the students were really working hard from this great event. I think it's a kind of celebration that we should take on. I'm Jain Narayan, working in IT industry as it has been explained for last 24 years. So we are not in any invention basically. You have seen a lot of invention. We are basically in innovations. We use the products which have been invented by the researchers and people who have done the innovations. So I'm an IT leader actually. Basically, sorry, I don't have any PPT. I could not create it, and I think time is also running out, so I do not want to take much time. But for students, I like to tell that the time has now completely changed. When I started my career in 1996, so that time it was a different kind of world. So we do not have any directions, and computer was a buzzword, and we just started our career in computer. And we didn't know what is cybersecurity, what is the big data, what is the cloud computing, what is AI, ML. Yes, somewhere we have read about AI. That time it was also a buzzword, but it was not up to that level that we could have used it that time. But now it's in a very advanced stage, and we can see a lot of applications of AI, artificial intelligence, and we are also trying to use in our company. So I'm in dairy industry for last 12 years. I worked in many companies like NIT, J&J, and I worked in medical fields. I worked in service industry and healthcare, manufacturing. So basically, I'm a mixed product of different kind of technology that where I can use different kind of technology, data centers, ERP systems, applications, software development. So that's how I grow, and I thought I'll become a IT leader in my initially career of ACE. So last 12 years, I joined NDDB Dairy Services. It's a extended arm of NDDB. We are basically in dairy business. We get funding from World Bank, we get funding from CSR, from NDDB, Government of India, SRLM, NLN, and we create the farmers' institutions. So these are different institutions where farmers become the member of the company. They are the direct stakeholders into the company, and we create them, we educate them, and we create these companies from the scratch. So you can say these are also startup. So last 10, 12 years, we have created almost more than 22 companies. Small dairies, big dairies. We have big dairies also where one of the 4 5 dairies we have done over around more than 1,000 CR. And as a group I talk about, we are creating every day we are procuring more than 40 lakhs liters milk per day, and we have connected. So my job was to connect the entire dairy solution when I joined this organization. So it was very difficult because we talk about 10, 12 years back, there was no connectivity in rural areas, villages. So we did very work hard. I started this whole implementation with my team, and I used to ask my team to go to remote areas like in Gujarat, Junagadh, and where this army area is there, and connectivity was a big problem. And the objective of our organization was to create the transparency into the system, because farmers who our objective is to create organization where we have the marginal farmers. So we don't take large farms. So objective is to make them sustainable of these small and marginal farmers. So there was a the infrastructure where we had the middle level man. So when farmers post the milk and it goes to the near chilling center, then these middlemen exploit the farmers because there was no direct banking transactions into their bank account. So we had a huge challenge how to connect the IT system. So I was the responsible person to make the entire things landscape converting into the automation. So I'll tell you what is the application usage of various technology of IT. What we did, we created the IT system in every village. Every village now has a IT system where we have the milk testing equipment, analyzer, weighing scale, and then a DPU kind of IoT system which is connected to these devices, automatically takes the data, and then we created an infrastructure where the entire data goes to the central server. The next problem was how to give the payment to the farmers into their bank account. So what we did, we created their bank accounts, though it was very difficult because banking services in rural areas is very difficult to take into account. So, but somehow we were able to create the bank account of all these farmers, and now we have a complete IT system. We did a complete transformation from entire manual system to converting into digitization. I'm happy to share that we have the very big data centers. We are working IBM. Mr. Mani is not here, but we are working their IBM data centers, and the entire data comes to these data centers, and then we have a complete redundancy, and it's completely secure, and we create more than 500 crores in 1 month to these farmers. So we pay payment in every 10 days, and so this is very difficult, to manage because there's a lot of data which is coming from the fields. But we have we have used the technology like GPRS system. We are using GPS system in the tankers, and then we use the SCADA system in the MCC and chilling center where we get the milk inventory, and we also have the quality system. We have implemented the best world SAP ERP system, though it did not have the dairy module in that, so we customized that SAP system, and that was the first in India that we created a dairy template for the dairy farmers. So that's how the journey happens, and now, as I said, like we we have almost 25,000 villages which are connected to the IoTs, and it's a big system now. The spreading across, we are working in 9 states, and more than 10 lakh farmers we have connected, and that's how I think all of you know you must be drinking the milk. So NDDB is the parent organization who have created Amul, Mother Dairy, and all the federations across states. So we are the people who are bringing milk to you at your home, and I would like to make sure you that this milk is very pure, and we take care about the quality and quantity of the milk system through the IT system, and we get the online data from the villages now. So that's how we have done. We are using cloud computing. We have placed the cloud system on the data centers. So we also have implemented the predictive analysis through the various tools where we find out the exceptions of the milk. Let's say if someone is doing the filtrations into the milk, like outside milk, if it is coming, because our condition is that the members, the farmers, he should be the member of the company, because ultimately he is the stakeholder of the company, and whatever revenue of these companies are getting, we give them back as a dividend, and the incentive to the farmers. So this is the kind of journey I'd like to share with you guys. And thank you so much for this wonderful platform. And I really enjoying here coming with my friends. I made some more friends also. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, I humbly request our session coordinator, Professor Maua Bhattacharya ma'am, to come forward and address the speakers and gatherings and start with a panel discussion round.
Hello, very good afternoon. It is my privilege today to be here to welcome all our distinguished dignitaries on dais and off the dais, my esteemed faculty colleagues, my students, ladies and gentlemen. So today we are here for this Atal Research Innovative Conclave, and today from the morning itself we have just seen the mission and vision of our dignitaries. They have just given through their speeches. And even in this session, I have seen the dignitaries, they have given their ideas, their innovativeness, their research, and also their social work, through their works, the social services they are providing to us. And here in this particular session, I have seen very diverse areas they have discussed about. They have talked about the communication, Professor H.M. Gupta, Professor Mani, and all they have actually given our ideas on AI and machine learning. Also, I think Mr. Mani has left, and also Mr. Janaran, he has given how the dairy products, the AI-based techniques may be used, the IT-based IT-enabled management systems may be used. So this is it. We got a lot of knowledge from them, and I hope that our students are also getting very great ideas, which in future they can think for implementation, even for very societal impact. So I'm just opening the session for discussion. So audience, you are free to discuss with our dignitaries. So anyone, if you have any question, please.
I'll- So I have a question for Dr. Gupta. So,
Yes.
Sir, I was able to like look at your profile and what Amul was telling us. It was really like a accomplishing career that you have, and you also told that yesterday you were in Vijayawada and tomorrow and today you got a flight from New Delhi to Gwalior in such a freezing day. So, sir, at this age and time, what keeps you motivated to go ahead and get farther than yourself?
वही रखा है ना.
Can you be a little more specific about it? Repeat the question again, please.
Yes. Sir, my question is that your career has been such great, and you are almost at the age where most of the people, almost the youngsters, are looking for early retirement these days. But still, you are so energetic and you are going ahead and going through all of the places at this age. What keeps you motivated?
Well, it's two things. One thing is that the wishes of my friends, acquaintances, my colleagues, okay, they come first. Okay. They have always been wishing me all the time well. Okay. Second thing, my inner desire that so long my brain is working, my hands are working, my legs are working, let me be active and whatever I can contribute, in whatever fashion to science, technology, or society, let me do that. Okay, whichever way it is. Okay.
So, any more question from the audience?
Wonderful, both of our speakers. Sir, my question to Jason. As you mentioned, no, NDDP is almost 50 years old organization and still it's covered just 10 lakhs of farmers. Means I would like to know, for example, if I would like to open a dairy, because in Jharkhand we don't have that much any kind of big dairy farms. We do have one newly recruited, means open awesome dairy is there. But still, for example, if I would like to open a dairy, what would be the process and like why so after so many years of establishment of this board, it's more than 50 years now it has been established, and though we are the country of farmers and milkmen, still only 10 lakhs people has been covered, sir.
So, thanks, Dave. Basically, it's not only 10 lakhs farmers. NTS is a specific subsidiary of NDDB, which works on very specific areas where we are creating the advanced institution of the dairy. So, this arms is specifically working for creating the producer companies. So, there are other arms, so like NDDB has created the Amul. So our job is to create the institutions, not to run the institutions. But this specific dairy services has been specifically created to create the advanced version of the societies. So that is why under this arm there are 10 lakh farmers are connected. So when you see Amul is the biggest dairy. Millions of farmers are connected, so they are collecting more than lakhs liters day per day. Then and Mother Dairy is also the subsidiary of NDDB. So these are different functions. So NDS has a different functions. So NDDB has created federations across states across India. So I hope that this is giving the clarity of your first questions. Second is if you want to open a dairy, then basically we have a set of process, let's say government approaches, then we give a feasible study in which area that CSR or government or NDDB or government they want to set up the dairy industry. So if you are falling under that set of criteria and you have the fund from any other agency, then it can definitely help you to set up the dairy.
I have a question. I have a question to Dinesh. Hi, Dinesh. Am I audible? Okay, Dinesh, of course, even I come from services industry. And how are you actually managing the services industry being so competitive, right? While you are a startup organization, but how are you actually planning to build your profitability and scale up your business? Because you may be competing with players like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, right? So what are the business plans you have, and where is the innovation probably taking place, and how are you going to give an opportunity to, probably align with some of the startups?
So, what I understand about your question is more in terms of how we are managing the things in terms of considering the competitions and from that end, I didn't get your question because of the volume.
My question is, services industry, particularly tech services, is a very highly competitive industry, right? We all know that, right? Could you hear? I mean, am I audible?
Not about volume. Volume is echoing a bit not clear coming in.
Hey, I just hear me.
And now better.
Okay,
It is
okay.
there.
So what I'm saying is, my question is, while we all are in the tech services industry, and we know that it is a pretty competitive, cutthroat competition is there from large players, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. You being a startup, how are you actually planning your organization, maintaining the building a sustainable business, and also how are you planning to grow when you compete with players like Accentures or like large organizations, I would say. So, any thoughts on that? You want to share with the people? There are many young students here. Probably your inputs on your competitive strategies. How are you planning to build your organization to next phase? They might be quite useful to them.
Right. Yeah. Now I got it, Giridhar. Thank you. So as a startup, when we are working into the market, definitely we face a lot of the competitions, and when we see when we need to go into the market as a go-to-market strategy, right? So when we work on our go-to-market strategy, majorly we keep in mind that there is a big player, those who have their own set of customers, they have their benchmark, their quality, because it is already there, they are there in the market since many years. So as a startup, when we are working from a planning and the strategy point of view, first we have gone into approach in terms of what is our core strength. We have to focus more on what we know and what we can deliver. So when we started as a consulting, we were very good experts in terms of the HR services, HR solution. So we focused in one area and we thought that let's go very in deep and we build our competency, our strength in and around what we know and what we can deliver. However, when we see competition from a bigger partners or bigger consulting organization, definitely they have their own way of managing the services and customers. But our approach was more in terms of like how we become more innovative in terms of the services. So when we go with the innovative in terms of, let's say, each and every area of our HR consulting, which was the initial part of our organized journey as a startup. So in HR consulting, when we go to our customer, we were working on a we were solving very small problem. Like a different, like as I given one example in terms of how we help them streamlining their recruitment activities. So recruitment activity is also when we see a bigger organization where there are 100 interviews happening on a daily basis, how they can have a faster result and how they improve the operational activity and have a faster onboarding of the resources. So this was one of the scenarios where we work a lot of in terms of the technology automations by using some AI. So we try to work more on the strength of what we have, and that is has helped us in terms of sustaining ourselves. Second thing, what very importantly, what we planned that we know that let's say big players are there and they are into implementation, they do the consulting, but we decided let's go and agree to customer where we can deliver. We cannot go and deliver a bigger landscape. Let's say a multinational organization where they have they need a lot of team members where we need to deliver the project, which is a complex project. So as a startup, what we decided that we will go with a very mid-level organization or small organization where maybe that we will get the advantage of the rates because customers also have the expectation in terms of they have a limited budget where there is a rate for us also to go and as a startup we also have a less as a overheads and all these things so we can give a better rates as well. So what we decided that we will not go to the very larger organization, we will go with the mid-level or small organization to work on our services. Second thing, from a sustainability point of view, is what we need to add other services area as we grow and as we are getting stable into one particular services. So you can say line of services. We need to add continuous line of services where there are a lot of potential of the business, but we need to be in the consulting services. So now let's say apart from HR services, consulting services, now we are more into business consulting also in terms of end-to-end business consulting, where there are again a small organization and medium organization are required this kind of consulting. Second thing, very importantly, what we as a startup to survive and sustain, we are very deeply focusing on how we have our forecasted business because when we do a consulting, certain consulting project is a very limited. So we are focusing more on how we have a forecasted business. This forecasted business can come only from when we have a long-term contract with the customers. So long-term contract can come only from a services point of view. In terms, let's say we have a yearly services contract. So once we deliver a yearly maintenance and services of particular solutions, it helps to forecast our particular revenues. So today, let's say we have almost 35 to 40 customers, where we have out of 40 customers, we are right now having 30 customers where we have a forecasted business. At least something is there on a monthly billing and yearly billing, which help us to run our business, right? Somewhere we get a bigger project also, but project has its own terms and conditions and its own challenges. But then we see a kind of a sustainability. What we see as an organization from a revenue point of view is the maintenance and services contracts. And same time, other area is how we retain the employees. The retention of the employee, especially into IT and consulting services, where we need a good talent. The talent has to be there with you for. We normally say to the employee, be part of our journey, be part of our dream, so that as organization scales, you also get a lot of exposure and platform to grow. And today also, so many employees, we have very less attrition rate also because we daily basis we work on a different some innovations and some we create some HR come with some different strategies and ideas which help motivate to the employees and we encourage the employees. Right? So it's not only like bringing a business and having a customers on board, but if you do not have a delivery team or some consulting team, that also is another problem. So we have to balance both customers with the forecasted business. Same time, we have to ensure that how we retain the employees and we continue grow the business in by balancing both business and the delivery. I hope this helps to my answer to your question.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much for the session and for all our esteemed speakers. Thanks. So, a big hand for all of them. Applause as well. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable speakers and coordinator ma'am. Here we have a token of appreciation from our side. I would request Dr. Mawa Bhattacharya ma'am to please represent the guest of honor with the memento. Proceeding further, from the past 4 days, we were conducting our ESGP program organized by our TIIC cell and Dr. Anurag Srivastav, sir, Dean of External and Alumni Relations at ABB IIIM, and Dr. Manoj Kumar Das, Program Coordinator of ESGP program. For the valedictory session, I would request Dr. Anurag sir and Dr. Manoj Kumar Das to come upon the stage and felicitate the participants.
Good evening to all of you. Good evening to all of you. So let's be briefing about the EHB program. MSCME awarded 60 lakh rupees for organizing 6 FDP. For each FDP, there is 10 lakh. So there are 6 FDP. First FDP is called the startup building and capacity building and strategy planning. Second one is e-business. Third one is agriculture 4.0. The fourth one is ICT enabled business. Fifth one is the drone, and sixth one is our e-business. So we have completed the first MVP program, which is sponsored by MSME. We have started the program on 14th of December. Today is the last day. There are 18 sessions we have completed. It was both all the participants are from all over India. We have selected 20 participants as the mandatory of this project. So today is the last day. So we want to felicitate the participant who have successfully completed the course. And the next MDP will be on the second week of January. And finally, there are 2 MDP we are going to organize. One is e-business, another is digital financial inclusion. So first of all, I'd like to thank our Honorable Director sir who provided the opportunity to conduct this MDP. And I'd like to thank our Anurag Srivastav sir, the nodal officer of this EHB program. And this EHB program is organized by 2 departments: Department of Management Science and Department of Engineering Science. And Department Management has the responsibility to conduct 3 MDP, whereas Department of Engineering Science is also responsible to conduct 3 MDP. So next MDP, what we are going to organize in the month of January, is parallel session. One will organize in Management Department, another will be the Engineering Department parallelly. So thank you very much. I request from Amrit Srivastav and HOD Management Studies for presentation of the participants. All one by one.
Following the old tradition of our college, now it's time to acknowledge the participation for the 5-day Advanced Management Development Program. I request Professor Anurag Srivastav, Dr. Manoj Patwardhan, and Dr. Manoj Das to kindly distribute the certificates. The participation are like this: Mr. Tapan Prasad Acharya, Dr. Raghavendra Trivedi, Mukul Kumar, Sanjeev Kumar, Ditya Acharya,
संजीव कुमार नहीं है सर। है सर।
Ditya Acharya, Usha Rani, Pooja Gaur,
भैया
Umesh Kumar Gaur,
इनको
Divyansh Verma, Mr. Manish Shankar Datta,
पूरी बिगड़ जाएगी क्या मतलब
Sagar Yadav sir, Mrs. Jyoti Tomar, Nisha Sirohi, Mr. Sumit Namdev, Mr. Shivyansh Sharma, Mr. Vijay Pal Singh Rana, Mr. Nihal Singh Chauhan, Rathor, Mr. Nishant Rathor, Dr. Raghavendra Trivedi, Mr. Abhay Singh, Mr. Brajendra Singh Sikarwar, Mr. Anup Singh Rathor,
all these participants from this workshop, they will be getting the separate certificate from the MSME directly. So we'll be starting the next session of Eric. So anybody, any participant left from who has not got the certificate from ESDP? No, they are not yet. अच्छा ठीक है खुशी बंसल and Satyam. So can you please come on the stage? So we are running too late. And this is session number 3. So may I request Dr. Anuraj, please Professor Jayadidhar. So Professor Jayadidhar is busy in another faculty interview. So may I request Dr. Anuraj to please coordinate the session on his behalf. And for this, Mr. Preet Yadav is here. Please be on the dais. And Secretary Malina, he'll be. Mr. Mira is here. Yeah, you're here. And you can please come on the stage. And Mr. Akshat Agrawal is consultant from Ministry of Food Processing and Industries. Akshat, please join us. So I'm handing over to Dr. Anuraj now. Proceeding, please.
Good evening to all ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, respected faculty members, and Research Conclave participants. Welcome to Atal Research Incubation Conclave in the beautiful city of Gwalior. I am Nija, your host for the session. We gathered here to exchange ideas and open discussion on emerging research and led startup innovation in science and technology in Amrit is indeed golden opportunity for each one of us to enrich and enlighten ourselves. Without further ado, let's dive into our promising schedule. Our speaker is Mr. Preet Yadav, Technical Program Manager at NXP Semiconductor, Mr. Girdhar Malina, IT Head USD, Mr. Akshat Agrawal, Consultant, Ministry of Food Processing and Industries. Our session coordinator is Professor Jaydeep, Dr. Anuraj Singh. Let's come forward to our first speaker. Mr. Preet Yadav. Dr. Preet Yadav involved in diversified VLSI domains of CAD, AMS designs and verifications, and core technology development throughout his 16 plus years hands-on experience. He received in BTech degree in EEC from Kurukshetra University and MTech degree in VLSI design and CAD from Tharapur University. He worked at Semiconductor Complex Limited and in 2008 he joined Freescale Semiconductor, worked on process design kits, leading handful on technology from mature to advanced nodes. Presently, he is working on analog, mixed signal, SoC, automotive, micro and processors. Presently, he is an R&D Associate Technical Program Manager at NXP Semiconductor. So, I request to our honorable speaker to share their thoughts.
Hey, good evening. Well, this is a pleasant surprise. I was not knowing I'm supposed to speak in English. I thought it's going to be a final discussion, but here I am. Okay. So, a few of the things in the given technology context I would like to talk about. This is okay. Yeah. So, a few things I would like to talk about in the technology context today is first on the automotive side. So you might ask me why automotive? Because automotive has seen a huge revolutionary change in the last couple of decades. So if you talk about our typical automotive mobility cars, say 2, 3, or 4 decades back, those were typically a mechanical device. Okay, there were hardly any electronics sitting inside it. And gradually, if you see any automotive vehicle in today's day, they have about close to $1,000 worth of semiconductor sitting inside. And the reason is that not only the electrification is part of it, EV is a part of it, but largely many other aspects, be it your power steerings, be it your power windows, be it your anti-braking system, be it your airbags, all the safety and security things around it. But why, automotive? This is a typical question which I get is that why automotive is lagging behind when it comes to latest technology? Because typically, if you see the front runners in the latest technologies are mobile devices, and for automotive, it takes its own sweet time to adopt to the latest technology. The reason behind is for automotive, there's a first thing which comes into mind is reliability. So every single component sitting in an automotive vehicle today needs to be reliable, and this has to be reliable day one. This has to be reliable, in 10th year of its life. So I'll just give you a quick example. You buy a new toy, and if it is not working on day one, you can live without it. It's like you go and ask for a replacement, you might get it another week or so. But what if you bought up a car and the brake doesn't work on the day one itself? You can't afford it. So that's the reason why anything which is getting into a semiconductor which is going to be used in inside automotive vehicle has to be reliable. And the reliability should be as good on the day one as it would be 5 or 10 years down the line. So that brings up another question that we are talking about a 10-year lifespan of an autonomous vehicle, and in Indian context, the life shell is I think 15 years for a petrol-driven car. Okay, so the brake should work as good as it is working on the day one, even in the 15th year of your vehicle. Okay. So when we want reliability, what we are doing is what we are trying to do is that as a designer, let me take example of a chip designer who's designing a chip which is going to get inside an automotive vehicle, and trying to reduce my span of specs because I know that there will be some aging effect inside the chip. Okay, there will be many other external environment effects even coming into the all of this electronics. Okay. So let's assume if someone is giving me a spec A for my current numbers, okay, I would like to add up a delta on both left and right of A, so that even if I go out of specs with this delta on either side, still the product is within the given range. So ultimately, instead of designing something for a spec A, I am designing it A plus 2x, on both of the sides. And then comes the PVT, process voltage and temperature. It has to work across the process. It has to work across the given temperature range and voltage range because the automotive vehicle which you are designing today might be used in your Thar desert, where inside a closed car the temperature might go around 60 degrees or something. And the same vehicle might be used in sometimes somewhere in Leh Ladakh where the temperature goes into minus with a high altitude. So that's why the specs become, I would say, more tighter in terms of precision, but at the same time in terms of I would say tolerance, that tolerance goes high because automotive grade is a different temperature range which one needs to guarantee. Whereas if I go to many of the industrial domain, that's not the case. Now for the this, I would say delta specs. I don't want to go and play in the latest tech mode, okay? Because where the the variation is might not be in a tight control of mind, whereas in the mature nodes where we have learned so well, we understood the node so well, I can do that. So that's one of the reasons which I typically get in many of the interaction is why automotive grade things are not on the latest technology. The other thing comes up is safety and security. So let me first touch upon safety of any automotive grade vehicle. So there are many safety aspects. There are many safety rules like ISO 26262, which governs the structural safety of the vehicle. And the similar kind of rules are being gone for like airplanes and many other aspects. And the way we design an automotive system is that there is a backup. If there is a component A, what if the component A, which is used for a critical application, goes off? So I should have a backup of it. And now people ask me, what if the backup also doesn't work? So I should have a backup? No, there's an endless chain. But at the same time, what we do is that whenever we design something, we design it in such a way that once my main component is not working and the backup kicks in, and there could be a adverse scenario where even backups might go off. So I should have a way to bring back the code functionality to a safe state so that that device can be in the control. Let's say if it's a braking system, then the moment first backup is out of job, the job of the second backup is to take control of the stuff and give enough time to this driver to bring the car to a halt. The other aspect which is typically not talked about is autonomous vehicle, which is a favorite topic these days, and not for these days, but quite for a few years now. And there are like 5 stages to autonomous. We call it autonomous 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. And there 0 is a manual car which we drive, and then there are cars which are assisted, like we have cruise mode, etc. Then there are cars which are at advanced level where I need someone sitting inside the car, but the car has taken control of itself. And then finally comes the autonomous vehicle where you don't need even a driver sitting inside the car. But then there are many associated challenges, and that brings in a topic of ethical computing. Something wherein a system is there, there's no human sitting, and the system has to take a call. A typical example is you're on the road, and then there's a pregnant lady, a aged guy, and a young fellow. You need to hit one of them in order to save the other two. So which one you're going to hit? There's no human sitting in who can take a call that there's a pregnant lady, there are 2 lives if I hit this lady. And then at the same time there's a young fellow who has a big lifespan to live, but there's the aged guy still is of use. So that gives a dimension, another dimension which is known as ethical computing or ethical way of decision being made by autonomous vehicle where there's no human sets up. And that ethical topic is itself is a big topic of debate all across the world. And there are many rules which are governed by the localities. Okay, so we were talking the other day that what if there is a cow and a buffalo on the road, which one you hit and why? The person said, okay, well it depends on which state of India you are in. Okay, because that will grow. So there's such deep challenges where at the top level, if we see, we can't foresee things. The next aspect comes into is the security of the vehicle because these vehicles they have so much of information in it that anyone who get access to them can be a fatal thing for a human. Let me take the example of mobile phones. So in earlier days, the landline phones there was no memory at all. We used to dial that circle outside. Then gradually came in the keypad landline phones where you had a little memory where you could save a couple of last dial numbers. Then shifting gears to the mobile phone, the typical earlier days mobile phone where you used to do that center button and the start to unlock it. It's password protected, but the password is public. Everyone knows it. The password was only meant so that by mistake this doesn't get pushed while it's the devices inside your pocket. So those phones used to have what information? Those phones used to have your phone numbers and probably your text messages. That's it. But nowadays, this smart TV device sitting inside your pocket, it has everything. It has connectivity to internet, it has connectivity to your internet banking, it has connectivity to all of your smart IoT devices sitting inside your office or homes. And that's the reason why we need to secure these guys. So same shift is happening in the automobile segment, wherein now this car is a smart car. It has a lot of connection, B2B, B2X, and to your personal devices. So if someone gets access to the car, they indirectly is getting access to your home because your smart car is talking to your smart, operating system inside your garage. I'll give you another example. One of the earlier hack, the Jeep hack, wherein the hack was done through a radio channel. Because we never thought of why would someone hack my AM or FM. But this guy, the hacker, was able to get access inside your car through the radio channel, and once you get inside the car, you can access everything. So it's like securing the weakest thing in the whole link. So that's the reason why security is damn crucial for such kind of applications. The other aspect I quickly want to talk about is more on the IoT front, little from separate from the automotive, is why we need security of IoT devices. And few of the bigger challenges which we see, one is the BOM, which we call as bill of material, because IoT is a very competitive market. The Fitbits that you wear, they are really, you get it at a peanut dollars. But if you don't secure them, then these Fitbits are now talking to your tab, and tab have access to all your financial data. Okay. The other thing which we are seeing is there are no very well defined governance standards for all of the IoT segment, because IoT could be as small as your Fitbit, it could be as large as an industrial IoT, wherein this IoT is being devised out or used to control all of the industry. So it's like one size doesn't fit all. That has to be for different set of applications and different segments. The rules, so the playing rule needs to be going differently. So these are the few of the aspects which I see, in our ecosystem, which we need to work. I come from automotive IoT background, that's why I have to talk about the applicable stuff. But to that, we as a technical community, first thing is we need to be aware about it, because many times unknowingly, because let me take example of security. Typically, what used to happen is that first you used to design a device, and at the end of it, you realize, well, I need to secure it. So it's like, you have a house, and now you have constructed the house, now you want to put in a main gate to secure the house. You can do that. You can put an iron gate at the entrance, and your whole house is secured because no one is going to break that iron gate unless someone has a cutter. Okay? But that's not applicable for our devices. The devices should be, at the time of concept of the device itself, security should be there. Okay? Even if the security should be such a way, even if someone, let me again give you an example of a house where someone has got into the main gate, got into your house, but now every single room has a door. Okay, so even if someone is in your premises, you can't get into every single room because there is a door and those doors are bolted or locked. So same should be the case of our smart devices, wherein even if someone is able to hack the device, they are able to only hack you or get access to part of it. It should not be the case that every single part of it is being now opened up. So those are the few of the aspects we as an engineering community need to take in consideration whenever we plan to design a device. So with this, I will take a pause here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pete, for this insightful talk. Our next speaker is Mr. Giridhar Mallela, IT Head, UST.
First of all, good evening. I am not IT head. I work for an organization called UST. I work for an organization called UST Global, which is a global IT services organization. As we speak, we are around $3 billion US organization with presence in 40 odd countries, with around 35 to 36,000 employee base. Okay. So, how our actually IT service organizations are set up actually. I want to give a little overview. Probably my predecessor probably would have touched upon services industry per se, but how IT services organization sitting in Bangalore, sitting in Hyderabad, we can actually serve global clients like Walmart or any NetApp or HP or Dell, exclusive clients. So the organizational, some of the key organizational setup, what we call is competency leads, what we have, different competencies, be data science or ERP or different technologies. We have competencies where competency leaders will be there. They can be placed anywhere in the world. They can be in India, Europe, US, and we keep interacting with the clients, right? And when it comes to delivery, the delivery centers we have different models: onshore delivery, offshore delivery, or nearshore delivery, hybrid model, what we call. Because somebody we need to deliver in US in the same time zone. If I have to deliver in a cost with a cost optimization, I can look at resources from maybe Costa Rica or Argentina, but they will be in the same time zone. So that is what we call a near shore. Okay, and at the same time to support all this, to fuel and support, we have a talent acquisition teams, etc. Right. So our organization in India, we are based in Bangalore, as I said, Hyderabad. We have even in Noida also we have delivery centers. Okay, and Europe, predominantly in Europe and US, North America and Canada. Okay. So my role is to help the clients. Okay, before that, I carry close to more than 20 years of industry experience, predominantly in the enterprise applications. When you talk about enterprise applications, it could be CRMs or ERP or enterprise resource planning or human capital management or supply chain management, all the applications which will actually cover the complete business processes, right, from end to end. So my role is to interface between the business architecture and the IT architecture, right? For example, we interact with all the C-level people, CXO, CFO, CMO, Chief Marketing Officer, Chief Executive Officer. What they discuss with us their business challenges, business pains. For example, supply chain department, if they have a business challenges in terms of supply chain visibility or supply chain optimization or supplier network optimization. These are some of the business, I'm talking about very niche areas where they have a challenges which will actually impact the business, right? This is a business strategy, business process, but it is always supported by IT strategy. Okay, so that is where we actually come into picture and help the customers in terms of decoding, understanding, debating, and finally creating a roadmap how we can address the business challenges using the existing technologies. Again, in the technology point of view, the jargons like standard and customization, a lot of things come into picture, right? So that is where the IT talent actually coming into play, right? That is where most of the I wish we have more students here. So we keep going to a lot of campuses across the country, and some of them work as a data engineer, some of them work as a developer, some of them work as consultant, etc. So these students are trained because they don't know that they may be coming with an education background, but they are trained, they are shadowed by a senior people, they get trained, and then they start interacting with the clients. Okay, so that is a typical model. So what we do is, in my role, we advisory or consulting, and in the process helping the client the complete digital transformation. I can say it's a very widely used word, but at the same time, every component of IT today available, they are part and parcel of digital transformation. Okay, so the applications come into play. Mostly, it is directly influencing the current set of business process, helping. They may not be directly involved in the innovation process, but we can definitely tweak the current set of process or create a parallel process so that at the end of the day, what customer achieves is optimization. It can be operational efficiency or cost effectiveness. It can be employee satisfaction, or it can be customer retention or new customer acquisition, whatnot, right? And somebody also said, data. Data is there. It's a lot of automation is happening, right? So all these softwares or hardwares finally bringing what automation, right? Automation also. We may be doing something else as well, but automation, data coming from one end to another end. A lot of data analytics coming to picture, right? Whether it is prescriptive or predictive, whatever analytics coming to picture. So this is what we do in the industry, and actually, what I want to share with the students and all is that the preparedness when they come to the industry, whether it is when they have a startup or innovation process, or when they join enterprises as a as a beginner, what we look at is what is the value is bringing to the organization. What is the value? It's not only always academic. It is actually we look at the maturity of a person in terms of dealing with individuals, working in a groups, collective brains, collaboration, complementing with each other rather than sitting in isolation, right? And that is what is one of the attributes what we look at when we actually hire some of the young people. And another thing is when they become an entrepreneur or they have their own startups and all. With my more than 2 decades of experience, what I see is while you have seeding and understanding the current gap and probably having a product in place, it is one phase. Once you establish the organization, if you want to really scale up and make it sustainable, you need to have a differentiation strategy. You need to build layers, right? So again, some of the facts like volume strategy, value strategy, those are all we keep discussing that. So differentiation is something the team has to build the startups and all. And collaboration, as I said, right? They have to team up with people who come with a complementing their capabilities, etc. Right? That is where they probably they can make themselves actually present, sustain themselves. Another thing, there are a host of things we can talk, but in the interest of time, I can talk about one thing is land and expand. When I say land is the team probably the startups they start, they make their presence felt, but the celebration is over, right? How do they expand? How do they become within? Let's say talk about India, how their product is reaching to the masses. I think morning we heard from Dave, right? He's really struggling, but it definitely is actually making inroads to different parts of the geographies, right? So we need to expand within the country and then from local to global. When you become global in the sense, again you need to have a proper plan in place, internationalization. We all talk about global marketing, etc. How we collaborate with foreign players, because a lot of things I keep talking, interacting with global clients day in day out. Okay, what they look at is something different. What we actually have to inculcate, right? When you want to become a local organization to global organization, right? It can be interpersonal skills. It can be uh, I would say business acumen. It is definitely understanding the work ethics is very important in IT. Work ethics is very important. Uh, uh, Complementing, I have already told you, right? So there are many aspects where it's a cycle basically. I see many of the young graduates or postgraduates they have joined a IT organization. They take at least 3 to 4 years to actually really become the material for a strong material for the organization, because the 3 4 years is a learning cycle for them, because coming into industry which is completely from the day one they have to actually perform, right? Expect to perform, or otherwise they keep getting into training groups and training programs, and they finally they become a material probably they will not be anywhere, right? So they have to have a consummate strategy in terms of uh, 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 making themselves a right product in the IT industry. And I am sure with the current generation, we all have started. I think Jay sir was saying we have started when we have a different kind of systems in place, right? Today the landscapes are changing. Our job is to help the client. They may be having some old systems, on-prem systems. Now they want, I want hybrid models, cloud applications, SaaS application, within the various, I would say application space, addressing their different business areas. So that is what, in nutshell, I can say this time. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm open to address any specific questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Giridhar. Sorry, I skipped your introduction. So, Mr. Giridhar Malela is an enterprising sales leader and decision maker known for delivering enterprising solutions that mitigate business pain points, maximizing business performance, market reach, and ROI, and building alliances to deliver competitive advantage. So, thank you, Mr. Malela, for your advice. Now, I would like to invite our next speaker, Mr. Akshat Agarwal. Mr. Akshat Agarwal is providing consultancy to Ministry of Food Processing Industries, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, Ministry of Agriculture, etc. from different projects. He is having expertise in business consultancy, startups, incubation, skill development, IPR, etc. and have provided consultancy in the above mentioned topic to the students and faculty members of various academic and research institutions across the world.
Am I audible to you? Okay. So the theme of this particular discussion is startups जो साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी में इमर्ज हो रहे हैं विद द हेल्प ऑफ रिसर्च, अमृत काल में उनके लिए स्पेशल क्या है? बेसिकली अभी मैं देख रहा था तो व्हाट इज अमृत काल? तो अगर हम डिस्कशन की बात कर रहे हैं तो अमृत काल, आप में से कोई कुछ एक लाइन बता पाए कि व्हाट इज दिस अमृत काल? तब यहाँ से हमारा डिस्कशन शुरू हो पाएगा. Anyone of you? You are having mic? Yeah.
जैसा कि नाम से स्पष्ट है अमृत जी, और जब मंथन होता है तो वहाँ विष निकलता है, अमृत निकलता है. तो हमें लगता है आजाद भारत के 77 साल जो वर्ष हमारे निकले हैं, उस समय हम लोग मंथन कर रहे हैं कि हम लोग कहाँ पहुंचे और कहाँ नहीं पहुंचे. ठीक है. और हम लोग विष की तरफ नहीं जाएंगे, अमृत की तरफ जाएंगे. नेगेटिव को ना सोचकर पॉजिटिव पे बात करें. तो 75 साल के बाद जो 25 साल हमारे सामने आने वाले हैं, उसके हमारे सामने चैलेंजेस हैं. और जो पंच प्रण से जोड़ के हमने काम किया है, एक ऐसा इकोसिस्टम पूरे इंडिया में बने, एक ऐसा वातावरण निर्मित हो जिसके लिए हमारी मिनिस्ट्री हो या सोशल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हो और टेक्निकल संस्थान से मिलकर काम करें.
अमृत काल बेसिकली जैसा आपने बताया उसी तरीके से हमारे लिए, जैसे सुबह भी एक स्पीकर बोल के गए थे कि दिस इज द राइट टाइम, ये बिल्कुल परफेक्ट और सुटेबल टाइम है कि जब कुछ अच्छा हम सोच रहे हैं, जो मंथन हमने पिछले 75 सालों में किया है, उससे जो हमारे पास अमृत आया है उसको हम इम्प्लीमेंट कर पाए और कुछ अच्छा प्रोडक्ट या सर्विस के रूप में लेकर आ पाए. अब अमृत काल तो समझ में आ गया. इस अमृत काल के इम्प्लीमेंटेशन की बात आती है तो एक बहुत बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट रोल है गवर्नमेंट का. और गवर्नमेंट अपना रोल किस तरीके से प्ले कर रही है. अभी जब कोरोना पीरियड आया था तो आप लोगों ने देखा आत्मनिर्भर भारत एक मिशन लाया गया. ये आपदा में अवसर वाला कंसेप्ट जो भारत सरकार द्वारा दिया गया कि उस वक्त बहुत सारी चीजें मुश्किल थी, लेकिन उसके साथ कोप अप करते हुए आत्मनिर्भर भारत को लाया गया. आत्मनिर्भर भारत किस तरीके से मदद कर रहा है? हम जब स्टार्टअप्स की बात कर रहे हैं, न्यू बिजनेसेस की बात कर रहे हैं, इवन एक्सपेंशन ऑफ ओल्ड बिजनेसेस, इनकी बात करते हैं तो हमें जरूरत पड़ती है कि किस तरीके से फाइनेंशियल सपोर्ट मिले. तो मैं आपके 4-5 मिनट लूंगा मुश्किल से, और उसमें हम फाइनेंशियल सपोर्ट के लिए गवर्नमेंट के कौन कौन से कंपोनेंट्स काम कर रहे हैं और आत्मनिर्भर भारत के अंडर कौन से कंपोनेंट्स आते हैं. सबसे पहला, जब स्टार्टअप्स की बात हो रही है, साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी की बात हो रही है, तो हमें ये समझना होगा कि बिजनेसेस को हम 3 कैटेगरीज में डिवाइड कर सकते हैं. कैन एनीवन ऑफ यू टेल मी? the name of the categories. कौन सी 3 main categories होती? Yes.
Manufacturing.
Yes.
And service.
Services.
And trading.
And trading. Very good. Manufacturing, services and trading. अब जब मैन्युफैक्चरिंग की बात करते हैं तो जब स्मॉल लेवल पे बात कर रहे हैं, एमएसएमईज की बात करते हैं, तो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के लिए गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया कुछ स्कीम्स लेके आई है. क्या आप में से किसी को ऐसी कोई स्कीम मालूम है? Anyone of you from the dais also? Skill India, Digital India is little bit different. हम बात कर रहे हैं if anyone wants to start business in manufacturing sector, तो क्या गवर्नमेंट की कोई स्कीम की इंफॉर्मेशन आप लोगों को है? आप लोग इंडिया के एटलीस्ट अलग अलग जगह से आए हैं, तो आप अगर ये इंफॉर्मेशन यहाँ से लेके जाएंगे तो आप अपने साथियों को, अपने स्टूडेंट्स को बता पाएंगे. कोई भी स्कीम.
yes. प्रधानमंत्री मुद्रा योजना, जिसके तहत बिना किसी गारंटर के बैंक आपको एक बिजनेस स्टार्ट करने के लिए लोन देती है.
वेरी गुड. प्रधानमंत्री मुद्रा योजना, ये स्कीम अच्छी है, इम्प्लीमेंट हो रही है, लेकिन इससे भी अच्छी कुछ स्कीम्स हैं जिसमें आपको और ज्यादा बेनिफिट है. एक आती है प्राइम मिनिस्टर एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेशन प्रोग्राम. किसी ने सुना है इसके बारे में? प्राइम मिनिस्टर एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेशन प्रोग्राम में मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर में अगर कोई भी अपना बिजनेस स्टार्ट करना चाहता है और उस बिजनेस की कॉस्ट, प्रोजेक्ट कॉस्ट 50 लाख तक है, तो उसमें गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया सब्सिडी प्रोवाइड कराती है. The quantum of the subsidy will be up to 17.5 lakhs. 50 lakhs का कोई बिजनेस अगर कोई स्टार्टअप शुरू करना चाहता है कि 50 lakhs is sufficient for a small business. कोई स्टार्ट करना चाहता है तो 17.5 लाख रुपए तक की सब्सिडी गवर्नमेंट प्रोवाइड कराती है. That means student or the entrepreneur will get the finance of 50 lakhs and he or she has to repay remaining part apart from 17.5 lakhs. That amount will be paid by government to the financial institution. मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर की बात हो रही है और यही मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इंडस्ट्री अगर नेक्स्ट टाइम में एक री-लोन अप्लाई करती है, दैट मींस अगर उसने सेटअप कर लिया और उसको लगता है मैं और एक्सपेंशन करूं, तो द मैक्सिमम प्रोजेक्ट कॉस्ट विल बी 1 CR. 1 CR तक का कोई भी बिजनेस वो अपना करना चाहते हैं तो उसको फिर 30% की सब्सिडी मिल जाएगी गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया की तरफ से. दिस इज द प्राइम मिनिस्टर एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेशन प्रोग्राम. इसी स्कीम के अंडर सर्विस इंडस्ट्री भी आती है. अगर सर्विस इंडस्ट्री में कोई 20 लाख तक का, क्योंकि सर्विस इंडस्ट्री में मशीनरी ज्यादा नहीं होती हैं, कोई स्टूडेंट या कोई एंटरप्रेन्योर अपना 20 लाख तक का कोई बिजनेस स्टार्ट करना चाहता है तो 7 लाख रुपीस तक की सब्सिडी उनको मिल जाएगी. और ये भी सारी विदाउट कोलेटरल होती है. इसमें जो गारंटी होती है जिसे बोला जाता है वो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ही देती है. CGT MSC एक फंड बनाया गवर्नमेंट ने, उसके थ्रू 5 CR तक की किसी भी प्रोजेक्ट को गवर्नमेंट गारंटी दे सकती है. देयर विल बी अ फी, गारंटी फी. गारंटी फी पे करनी होती है, वो भी बैंक के थ्रू ही होती है. तो ये एक सिंपल सी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग और सर्विस इंडस्ट्री की स्कीम है छोटे बिजनेसेस के लिए. इसी में जब हम बड़े बिजनेस की बात करते हैं, बड़े बिजनेस मींस 1 CR से ऊपर तक का मैम कोई बिजनेस होता है तो उसमें 40% तक सब्सिडी है. 1 CR तो फिर आप 20 CR, 50 CR, 100 CR जितना भी जाते हैं, तो प्लांट एंड मशीनरी में आपका जितना भी एक्सपेंडिचर हुआ है, सिविल कंस्ट्रक्शन में आपका जितना एक्सपेंडिचर हुआ है उसको 40% रीएम्बर्स करती है गवर्नमेंट. दैट वुड बी थ्रू मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ माइक्रो स्मॉल एंड मीडियम एंटरप्राइजेस, MSME. इसके लिए भी स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के थ्रू अप्लाई किया जाता है. जो सब्सिडी है वो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के थ्रू आती है, लेकिन जो भी रिस्पेक्टिव स्टेट होगा उसके थ्रू अप्लाई किया जाएगा. ये MSME की स्कीम होती है. मैन्युफैक्चरिंग की बात हो गई, सर्विस की बात हो गई. थर्ड आते हैं ट्रेडिंग में. ट्रेडिंग में बहुत सारे स्टेट्स अलग अलग स्कीम्स लेकर आते हैं. मैं मध्य प्रदेश की बात बताता हूँ. मध्य प्रदेश में अगर कोई ट्रेडिंग का बिजनेस करता है, 20 लाख तक का प्रोजेक्ट करता है, तो देयर इज इंटरेस्ट सब्सिडी. जो भी बैंक से फाइनेंस होगा उस पर 3% की इंटरेस्ट सब्सिडी मिल जाएगी. ये ट्रेडिंग के लिए अभी पॉसिबल उसमें है. तो 3 चीजें हमने समझी, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, सर्विस एंड ट्रेडिंग. अब इसके बाद एक बहुत बड़ा कंपोनेंट है जहां गवर्नमेंट काम कर रही है, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फूड प्रोसेसिंग इंडस्ट्रीज के थ्रू. फूड प्रोसेसिंग आप सब लोग समझते हैं. फूड प्रोसेसिंग क्यों इंपॉर्टेंट है इंडिया में, कोई आप बता सकते हैं? व्हाई फूड प्रोसेसिंग इज इंपॉर्टेंट इन इंडिया? आपसे Any one of you?
Sir,
Yes.
Basically, sir, most of population in India वो जो विलेज में सर्वाइव करती है और उसमें जो जीडीपी में जो कंट्रीब्यूशन है वो प्राइमरी सेक्टर का जो कि बिलोंग करता है एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर से। वो जो एग्रीकल्चर से मटेरियल आता है वो रॉ फॉर्म में होता है, तो वो रॉ फॉर्म को कन्वर्ट करना पड़ता है एक पेरिशेबल फॉर्म में। एक मतलब उसकी शेल्फ लाइफ कम होती है, तो उसको पेरिशेबल बनाने के लिए उस पर कुछ प्रोसेसिंग करनी पड़ती है। लाइक मीट हो गया, मिल्क हो गया और various other pickles and all we can take example. So वो अगर उनकी शेल्फ लाइफ बढ़ानी है तो उसको कुछ ना कुछ प्रोसेसिंग करनी पड़ेगी।
Very good, very nice. Post-harvest management techniques and infrastructure are very bad in India. आपने कई बार देखा होगा ना कि किसान फेंक देता है अपने प्रोड्यूस को, उसको इतना भी प्रॉफिट नहीं हो पाता है कि वो उसको लेकर जाए मंडी तक बेचने के लिए। उसका ट्रांसपोर्ट का इतना ज्यादा खर्चा हो जाएगा जितना उसे प्रॉफिट नहीं हो पाएगा। तो अभी ऐसी फैसिलिटीज नहीं है इंडिया में कि उसको स्टोर करके रखा जा सके बहुत ज्यादा समय तक। ऑल्दो उसमें भी बहुत सारी स्कीम्स गवर्नमेंट देती है वेयर हाउसेस के लिए, कोल्ड स्टोरेजेस के लिए, जिसमें 30-35% तक सब्सिडीज रहती हैं। लेकिन फिर भी फूड प्रोसेसिंग अगर हो जाएगी तो उससे बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम सॉर्ट आउट हो जाएंगी और हमारे पास फूड की अवेलेबिलिटी भी इजीली बहुत लंबे समय तक रहेगी। तो फूड प्रोसेसिंग में भी गवर्नमेंट बहुत ज्यादा काम कर रही है। जैसे कि अगर कोई अपना छोटा सा बिजनेस शुरू करना चाहेगा 30 लाख तक का, तो उसमें 10 लाख रुपीस की सब्सिडी गवर्नमेंट दे देती है फूड प्रोसेसिंग में। जो आपको अमाउंट बता रहा हूँ ये मैक्सिमम अमाउंट बता रहा हूँ। अगर कोई आपका जानने पहचानने वाला कोई छोटा सा काम भी करता है, इवन कोई बेकरी खोलना चाहता है, नमकीन का कोई ऑयल प्रोसेसिंग यूनिट होती है, फ्लोर मिल होती है, इस तरीके का कोई भी अगर बिजनेस करता है तो 35% कैपिटल सब्सिडी मिलती है अलॉन्ग विद 3% इंटरेस्ट सब्सिडी। इसमें आपको दोनों बेनिफिट्स मिल रहे हैं। आपको कैपिटल अमाउंट जो है उस पर भी सब्सिडी मिलेगी और उसके साथ साथ आपको सब्सिडी किस पर मिलेगी, इंटरेस्ट पर। ये स्मॉल बिजनेसेस के लिए बता रहा हूँ। इसी में अगर आप बड़े बिजनेस के लिए जाते हैं तो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फूड प्रोसेसिंग इंडस्ट्रीज की ही स्कीम्स होती है जिसमें सब्सिडी का जो कैप है वो 5 CR तक का है। आपका प्रोजेक्ट अगर मान लीजिए 15 CR का है तो 5 CR तक की आपको सब्सिडी मिल जाएगी। रिमेनिंग पार्ट यू हैव टू पे टू द बैंक। और यही एक कंसेप्ट, आप में से किसी ने फार्मर प्रोड्यूसर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का कंसेप्ट सुना है? प्रोड्यूसर कंपनीज लाइक यू वर सेइंग, यस प्रोड्यूसर कंपनीज। या तो अगर प्रोड्यूसर कंपनीज अगर इसके लिए अप्लाई करती हैं तो उन्हें 50% सब्सिडी, लेट्स से प्रोजेक्ट कॉस्ट 10 CR है और 5 CR की सब्सिडी, दैट मींस यू हैव टू रीपे ओनली 5 CR। सो आई थिंक दैट इज अ बिग अमाउंट। सर एम आई राइट? तो इस तरीके की स्कीम्स गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से हैं। और एक और कंपोनेंट है, फोर्थ कंपोनेंट, जो मैं बताता हूँ आपको। अगर कोई एनिमल हस्बेंड्री में काम करना चाहता है तो गोट फार्मिंग, पिग फार्मिंग, पोल्ट्री फार्मिंग, इनकी इंडिया में बहुत डिमांड है और स्कोप भी है। तो इस तरीके का कोई प्रोजेक्ट होता है तो उस पर भी गवर्नमेंट 50% सब्सिडी देती है। कोई भी प्रोजेक्ट, लेट्स से एक गोट फार्मिंग का प्रोजेक्ट होता है 1 CR का, 1 CR का प्रोजेक्ट अगर कोई भी स्टार्ट करना चाहता है तो 50% स्टेट सब्सिडी, दैट मीन 50 लाख की सब्सिडी। तो गवर्नमेंट इस अमृतकाल में, अब अमृतकाल की हम बात कर रहे हैं, अमृतकाल में जो गवर्नमेंट का रोल है वो यही है कि आपको एटलीस्ट कुछ ऐसी असिस्टेंस इस तरीके की प्रोवाइड की जाए जिससे कि आपको अपना बिजनेस जब आप स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं तो वो एक हेल्प मिले। अगर आप पूरा बूटस्ट्रैप करके करेंगे और आप मानिए लोगों को इसकी इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं है। हमारे पास अभी हमने एक प्रोजेक्ट सबमिट किया 22 CR का राजस्थान में, मस्टर्ड ऑयल प्रोसेसिंग यूनिट अलवर में। 22 CR वो सेल्फ फाइनेंस करके कर रहे हैं without any bank, without any scheme, और वो 20 साल से मस्टर्ड ऑयल प्रोसेसिंग कर रहे हैं। लोगों को इंफॉर्मेशन नहीं, अब उनको 5 CR की सब्सिडी मिल रही है गवर्नमेंट से। तो इस तरीके की इंफॉर्मेशन आपको होनी चाहिए कि गवर्नमेंट। और एक चीज और आपको बहुत अच्छी बताता हूँ, जो गवर्नमेंट स्कीम्स के बारे में एक बहुत अच्छा कंसेप्ट लोगों के माइंड में है कि ये सिर्फ ऑन पेपर्स चलती है। तो ऐसा बिल्कुल भी नहीं है। मैं आपको बताता हूँ, हर मंथ में 200 से 250 प्रोजेक्ट्स हम लोग करवाते हैं और वो लोग एक्चुअल में अपने बिजनेस स्टार्ट करते हैं, कुछ भी ऑन पेपर नहीं। और एक इसमें बहुत अच्छी बात ये कि लोग सोचते होंगे इसमें बहुत ब्राइब होती होगी गवर्नमेंट डिपार्टमेंट से, बहुत इजीली प्रोजेक्ट हो नहीं पाते। इतने बड़े बड़े प्रोजेक्ट्स सिंगल पेनी की ब्राइब नहीं देनी पड़ती। इनिशियली तो मेरे को भी बड़ा उसमें अचंभा होता था कि ऐसा कैसे विदाउट ब्राइब इतनी सारी सब्सिडीज रिलीज हो जाती हैं। कुछ करना नहीं है, आपको अपना बिजनेस करना है, ऑफिशियल्स विजिट करते हैं और सब्सिडी आपके अकाउंट में ट्रांसफर हो जाती है। बस आपको करना इतना है कि आपको बिजनेस करना है एक ऑर्गेनाइज सेक्टर के रूप में, कि जैसे कई सारे आप फॉर्म्स देखेंगे, कई बिजनेसेस देखेंगे, बस स्टार्ट कर लिया, उसको एक स्कीम के अंडर लेके आइए, एक फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन से कनेक्ट कीजिए और वो जो भी गवर्नमेंट की हेल्प है, जो भी सब्सिडीज हैं, जो भी ग्रांट्स हैं, उनको इजीली अवेल कर सकते हैं। आई थिंक एक अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटी है अमृत काल में आप लोगों को। अब अगर कोई क्वेश्चन आपके पास हो तो आप पूछ सकते हैं, एनी वन ऑफ यू। थैंक यू।
Thank you, Mr. Akshay, for your insightful thought. So now I would like to invite our audience to ask some questions or queries about innovation or startup from our eminent speakers. Anyone?
So my question is to Mr. Preet. So you rightly said that security is one of the most emerging areas, and as many things go around being connected to the internet, that becomes more important. Now, as an academic institution, so if you see some great projects coming up, or say, some great algorithms coming up in the lines of security, what do you think should be the roadmap of the students to take it out to the industry and to commercialize? So over the past, we've seen that it could be much easier if you are a B2C brand or selling IT services directly to the clients than something which is more tech savvy and deep tech like security, where your customers are also a little bit more cautious that you don't have a brand value. So how do we project ourselves as a startup?
That's a good deep question. For the security, I think the first thing which I would like to emphasize, and I was trying to make out a point while I was speaking, that security should be by concept. Okay, it should not happen so that you first develop a product and then you try to secure it. Okay, I gave you the example of home that you constructed a house and then you have a gate sitting in front and that would secure your house. Okay, security should be by concept. So the moment you the moment you're developing a concept of a product, the security should be part of it, and security should be at each layer. Okay, so let's assume you have different IPs being used, and I come from a semiconductor background. I'll give you example of semiconductor. That if you have different IPs, those IPs should be secure. Then the moment you integrate all of these IPs, okay, there's a top-cut layer. Then that top-cut layer should be secure. And thirdly, the moment, let's assume this is an IoT device wherein a whole lot of communication goes and the data is being transferred, sent and received. So before you send these data over a channel, because you have your device in control, you can't have control of the channel through which this communication is happening. So you should encrypt this data when you send a post. So whatever carrier it is, even if they try to intrude into your data, they will not have the key to decrypt it. Okay, even if they have some information, those will be all digital zeros and ones. Okay, so that encryption and decryption. Now, as a startup, you can play role at different levels based on your expertise. Okay, but then the question comes in: who will buy your solutions? You're a startup, you have done something very innovative, but who will buy your solution? If you are adhering to some standards, okay, if it is a functional safety, ISO 26262, and if it is security, then you should your products, whatsoever you have developed, should get certified, okay, by some agencies. So I am working with a couple of organizations. This would be public domain news. We on 20th. I'm not talking about it on behalf of NXT, but I'm a faculty fellow to IIT Roorkee TIH. So there we have something which is in the yet not public domain, but the announcement would come by Q1 of 2024, wherein we want to devise out something for the India level security stuff. Okay? So there should be your product should be first of all should be latest for the given technology. Secondly, is try to aim for some security certification levels, whatever you're developing, so that the moment you have a product out, you should get that stamping done. Then only your customer will be interested to talk to you that, okay, well, this product is certified to this level, then it's safe enough for me to along to it. Security, the other part of it, you said that security is something which is, you can only sell it to people who value it. Okay? Because many of our products for domestic market, they are so competitive when security is just a tick mark. Okay? So they want a cheap product, they don't care about whether it's secure or not. So again, you need to find out whether you want to invest in a security of a smart bulb which is hanging outside, physically outside your home, which anyone can go and have a physical access to. Okay? My worry is more the moment you have something connected, then it is exposed to the rest of the world. Whatsoever you think that how much secure it is, but one or the other guy is keeping a watch on your stuff. So I feel it's easy to safeguard something physically under lock and key than to safeguard something which is on the web, which is on the internet. And I've seen few of the organization, they want to, the systems which are integral to it, they don't want to get them to an external network. They don't want to expose it to the rest of the world. So those are the few of the aspects one needs to take care of. I hope I answered it.
Thank you.
One question. Sir, sir, I have one question for you. That you have explained this so means state government scheme and so many scheme. My question is here that where you see the IIT student can start the startup means in this scheme and in which level they can work. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Akshay.
Yeah. Sorry, sir, Akshay.
Not only the IITM students from any institute, or even the person is not having any formal education, he or she can also start business and avail the benefits of the scheme. If any of your student is having any idea, wants to start any startup, see, business and startups, those are not the equal thing. Startup is a business. So they can also avail, if they are having any idea, they can just enroll in the scheme and take the benefit. There is no complication.
Okay. So, sir, the IITM student means take the idea from say in terms of the technology.
Yeah.
They can
in terms of technology, in terms of whatever it is.
So say suppose you have discussed the trading or say suppose you can say processing unit and do you think that we can initiate or we can discuss something like in with the student?
I think you should. Why you are not doing this, I don't know.
Okay, sir.
See, these schemes are 10-year-old schemes. Nothing new in this. But since you are not aware of this, that's why you are not going for it.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Bishop. So now one of our eminent speaker, Professor Abhi Sarkar, is Dean IST Mohali, joined us recently. So I'm going to introduce him. He's an experienced professor with a demonstrated history of working in the realm of computational nanoscience. He has postdoctoral experience at Fritz Haber Institute of Max Planck Society, Berlin, Germany, and jointly at Upasaka University and KTH, Sweden. Professor Sarkar has published more than 100 papers, awarded PhD degree to 5 students who have secured H-index 13 in their PhD. He has been recipient of President of India Medal for 2000 CNR Rao Award for Excellence in Nanoscience for 2018. American Chemical Society has recognized him as a top 3% highly cited authors for 2019-2020. IOP Publishing UK has acknowledged him as a trusted reviewer. So, Professor Sarkar, over to you.
thank you, Dr. Anuraj. That was for the introduction. That was rather an embarrassingly long introduction for me. Yeah. So as you have introduced me, I'm into scientific computing. I pursue research in the realm of computational nanosciences. I think theory has preceded experiments in many instances in the history of science, like piezoelectricity in two-dimensional materials was first predicted theoretically, and then it was observed and confirmed experimentally. So, computational nanoscience, I mean, that can play a very important role in cutting the cost. For example, if we can predict the material in advance, we can save on the cost of the chemicals. So, in that way, we can make a lot of a difference. And as also Dr. Anuraj mentioned that in my postdoctoral stint in Uppsala University, the group of Professor Rajiv Ahuja, so that what I had experienced there, someone from Sandvik is a multinational company. Someone from Sandvik, a student from Sandvik company used to come and do a PhD with Professor Ahuja. So this Sandvik manufactures super hard materials which are required for drilling. So what I have noticed that in the West, in Europe, the divide between industry and academia is small. I mean, in India, I guess we have to bridge the gap between the industry and the academia. So here, first of all, we need to raise our level of awareness. What is the problem? What is the kind of problem that the challenges which the industry faces? We need to have a dialogue with the industry. So these things actually need to happen in India. Or we can have a co-supervisor from different institutes. So from the very beginning, a PhD student can be assigned a problem. So this is a problem which is of relevance to the industry, and then we can get started in from the very beginning. If possible, we can have a few co-PIs from co-supervisors from different institutes, and maybe from the industry as well. I think as we are hard pressed with time, I will keep my I will keep my speech a bit short. I think. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Professor Sarkar, for this insightful thoughts. So now, again, I invite our audience to ask if they want to ask some question from our speakers from this side. Okay, so now we are very grateful to our speakers for this insightful discussion. And now the time for felicitation of our speakers. So, Dr. Das.
Madam, you'll felicitate.
Okay, just
So.
Okay. So now we are going to conclude the session. Thank you all of you.
Good evening, everyone. Moving further with the last session of the day, I would like to invite our speakers. Professor Manoranjan Mishra sir of FM University, Odisha. Ankit Shukla sir, CEO of Hello PM, Mr. Sameer Seth, HR consultant, and our session coordinator, Professor Manoj Patwardhan, HOD of Department of Management Studies, ABP IIIT. All the dignitaries are requested to please come upon the dais and take their respective seats. We are gathered here to exchange ideas and open discussions on the topic emerging research-led startup and innovation in product and service sectors in Amrit Kaal. I would request Dr. Mishra to come up on the dais and share his views on the topic of discussion. Giving a brief interview about Professor Manoranjan Mishra, he is a distinct professor and director at HRTC at Fakir Mohan University, where he has held this position since 2022. Prior to this, he contributed his expertise and knowledge at various esteemed institutions, including Sikkim Central University, University of Malaysia, Gangadhar Meher University, Khalil Kote University, Berhampur University, and served as a visiting professor at IISER Berhampur between 2010 and 2020. His research pursuits are multifaceted, encompassing climate change, geospatial technology, geodesign thinking, disaster management, and natural resource management. Dr. Mishra's scholarly endeavors have primarily focused on enhancing the comprehension of extreme event impacts on coastal environments. As of 2023, he has authored 53 research papers indexed in the Science Citation Index, amassing a cumulative impact of 204.607. Notably, his scholarly impact is reflected in an H index of 16 and an I index of 24. Dr. Mishra has successfully overseen 5 major research projects and engaged in 6 international consultancies. His expertise has been sought after for numerous invited talks both within India and abroad, underscoring his significant contributions to academia and his fields of expertise.
Thank you. It's a very good evening. So I'll just try to my topic is different. Means I was listening from morning. My topic is more related as a societal product, not industrial product. So my topic is what exactly is happening right now. You can see in the art systems what exactly is happening at the ground zero. So my journey, I finished my PhD from JNU. Then I started working in a different organization. Then back to Orissa, working in a state university. And you can see what I will be trying to say is things which is really changing. I think industry, I don't know how seriously they are thinking of climate change. This is a buzzword, but the climate change is a reality. So what exactly is happening at ground zero? If you see what is happening in the different districts of blocks or villages of Orissa on different part of India, what exactly is happening? So what is happening? You can see the temperature. So global average temperature is moving right. That means we are going to extreme conditions. Okay. So what are the impacts? You can say this is what they are saying. Like they are becoming either hotter or colder. And if you see exactly, if there is a shifting of 1 degree maximum temperature, just think of like in summer, if there is a temperature just 1 degree in your area, so what will happen? If it is a coastal region, there will be 10% moisture will be added into the atmosphere. So obviously, what will happen? So there will be more number of extreme events. I will show you the this from the depth side, not from the remote sensing or geospatial technology which we usually use for doing research. But I will show you this. I think I am just explaining this. You can see that is if you see overall India data in depth, you see except cyclone, all the extreme event days are going on, and in the last 20 centuries there is exponential growth. If you see, this is NCRB data, and then there is a lot of non-recording of these data also. And thing is, the most interesting thing I will be talking about, which really we are doing little innovations at the ground level. And if you see, there is, if you see from 1967 till 2020, there are 1,13,9 people have died due to lightning events. And in case of Orissa, if you see, like last 20 years, 6,075 deaths. And exactly per year in India is 3,000. And Orissa is 300. And if you compare with the USA, that's 30 days. China, whole country, 300 days. Why so much of deaths? We are using same technology, what USA is using for monitoring or early warning. And you can see in the last 20 years, there is a growth. It's like we have 1,500 deaths, and there is like you can see there is a death of 3,000 crossing every year. Right now, you can see NCRB data has already come up for this year. Also, we have crust 3000. What is my means like? I asked myself because like when I was doing my PhD or till I got my professor position in a state university, I was really thinking more about scientific product because I require my CAS and all sort of things I require. So I require more good stories, more quality. Means like impact factor, 10 impact factor. In our case, in our science or geoscience, we look into more. If it's more than 10 impact factor, we are making good stories. We'll get our positions or associate professor profession. So when I reached professor in a state university, you don't require to do research more. You are more in administration. Then I thought when I saw, like I did some kind of research in this before I got my professor position. You can say this is the date which I am saying about Orissa, and you can see 91% dates which is happening right now. And these dates are the people who are farmers, the laborers, marginal people who work outside. In case of disaster, you must be knowing like some disaster, if you are inside home, you are safe, like lightning. Its response time is 15 to 20 seconds. If you are outside in case of earthquake, you are unsafe. So there are different disasters have different way to manage. But in case of lightning, you can see this is the two thing which I am showing. This is a paper we published in Current Science. They have just shown there is a shifting pattern of death. If you see government's concentration more in big events. And the media used to cover cyclone in a big way because it's a 10-day event. And they don't cover lightning because it's just a response time is few seconds, people died, give compensation done. I think someone was talking about government policies in real terms. When you see, like we usually follow these dates. We try to geotag these dates, and what we found, like there are houses in the tribal area because of their kacha house they are taken because lightning strike nearby a tree. So what happened? There were 4 people inside the room. I can say many stories on this day because we do some kind of analysis of these stories. What happened? 4 people in a kacha house. So they were just at the evening. So one big tree was there, one lightning strike. So what happened? One guy who was putting his foot on the ground, he was killed. Other 4 guys were saved because lateral current flow and he was died. Also how these things also happening. And what exactly I am saying, this day pattern which is changing, it's more climate induced days. And there are windows, these changes will happen. And this will happen with lot of uncertainties in coming days. We have to innovate. With technology, we have to adapt with this thing. If we don't adapt, more deaths is coming like that. Then you see, this is one kind of research we have done for Orissa. I think this is what exactly my means you can say specialization is for a geospatial technology. What exactly we can do? We have databases in cloud. You can see Google Earth Engine. We can go back to 20 years, and then we can do a lot of analysis, which we have done, and we found which area has lightning, more lightning density, or which area, how many days are happening. Then we try to analyze, but we don't get any policy making kind of things from this paper. So then what has happened? Then I started just thinking, like I started questioning myself. Like as a researcher, I got so much of money from the government. So is this all these deaths which has happened can be avoided? So if you ask me, I can say yes. Why yes? Because this is the time period. Like you see, the lightning activity means like monsoon, pre-monsoon, monsoon, then post-monsoon. Their activities are different. And we cannot have a similar campaign for each season. If you see in the pre-monsoon, 85% death happens when people stands below it. So what happens when there is a rainfall? To save from the rain, we go and stand below. Also, why there is a chance that he or she 85% death happen. When it comes to monsoon, the story is different. The story is like the people, the agriculture or the farmers who are working inside water, they are being killed. And if you go to the post-monsoon, single day, because there are a lot of uncertainties happening in post-monsoon. In case of Bihar and UP, if you can check Google June 25, I think there are 114 days. In a single day, 55,000 lightning activity. And just in this year in Odisha, in a single day, September 29, I think there was 7,000 or 9,000 lightning activity for just 5 years. 14 people lost their life. So this is the thing which happened in the post-monsoon. So what I'm saying, I'm just trying to make you understand lightning, then I will go for what exactly we are doing. Just see, in case of lightning, so when the temperature, I think in the pre-monsoon, you see 40-45 degree temperature. So when it rises up just 1-2 degree, what will happen? So the light, the air will become light, and the moisture which is carrying, it will move upward. Then defreezing happens. So what will happen? So at certain point, a black cloud will be formed. So in case of black cloud, so there will be collision between ice particles, and then positive and negative charges will form. Charge particle will form. So positive charge will be moving up, negative charge will be moving down. So there is a drafting of cloud. Whenever you see a cloud which is black in nature and there is a drafting, you should understand there is a chance of lightning. And what happened? Anything which is on the surface of the earth are positive charges. Anything, maybe a human being, maybe an object, maybe a tree. Because why tree used to carry much? Because tree is having much height and also it's a stable one, having some kind of moisture. So when this negative and positive charge joins, so a current flows. And typical lightning activity, like it's 30,000 degrees centigrade and it's like 30,000 ampere of current. Typical means what I'm saying, it's not high intensity lightning activity. Sometimes a high intensity lightning activity happens. So what happens when it carries? So what will happen? So the tree which cannot alternate, so it will flow lateral. So if you are close to the tree, so there is a chance, so your heart will be blocked. Most of the things what happen when you get electric current, either it can come through your head or come through your leg. So when it comes to your leg, so first thing it will do, it will stop your heart. So there will be a stop. So great amount of current, so what will happen? It will stop. So if anybody is heated by any lightning activity, 10 to 15 minutes if you take to the hospital, starts giving means like CPR kind of thing, so there is a chance of survival 65%. So and just as this, you can see this is some kind of animations. These are the different kind of deaths, I think, which is happening. You see the one is fast is direct strike, you should understand, like lightning activity, naturally 85% which happens of this type. Because one cloud's positive charge, another cloud's negative charge, that's called as IC, intercloud, or inside one cloud that is called as intercloud. So what exactly happened? So 15% comes to the ground. Only 15% comes. And we don't know exactly when it comes. Because our monitoring agency, whatever we have right now, technology, is usually, previously, if you see from 2000, there are LIS, TRNM, LIS scanner, which is globally done by the USA. Each event is captured. But right now we have from 2000, I think 19, we have LDS. Means in the ground we can get this data, but still we don't know exactly when this cloud to ground will come. But still research is going on. So what this fast strike is like direct strike. If anybody is hit by a direct strike, the chances is 0%. Because what will happen is a huge current, so it will come through your head. So what I am trying to say, the chances is 99% chance is not there, it will directly. Because our height is so small, so the drafting will be not like that. But sometimes what happens if you are up in the tree or up in the building or somewhere in the mountains like Jharkhand, so what happens if the cloud forms in the lower height, so it will affect. Second, you can see there is a depth which is called a streamer. So my research started from a streamer day. Like when I was working in Berhampur University, 2 students died because after their exam they went close to the sea. Because exam was finished, they want to get some prison time there. So what happened? One lightning activity means strike the water to the sea. So one guy who was with the Bluetooth. So that Bluetooth blasted, and that guy died at the spot, and the girl was severely injured. Then I thought, like, the kind of research we are doing is not like, means I have already reached my position, so I have to do something for the, means what I am saying, like ground zero or something to the last mile connection. Some kind of innovation can be done. And the other is like related to ground current or conduction. These are some of the apps. I think I am going to the monitoring part. You see, there are a lot of innovations is required here, because this is a like crores of rupees were spent developing these apps. This is a Damini app. Anybody right now can go to Google Play and just, if you want, you can just download this Damini or such it, like Orissa has Satar. Like what you have to do, it will give you just 7 minutes, 14 minutes before a live track of lightning activity in your area. So if any lightning activity is happening in your area, it will 7 minutes before it will give you that this is going to happen. But thing is, if you see this is will happen means if you are a literate guy, you can use it. Just think of farmers, just think of laborers. They used to go from the work shift at 10 o'clock, because most of the lightning activity happens from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Apart from cyclonic activity or something like that, that's 2-3%. 97% happens from this time to this time. So when these activity happen and you see the many, so they were already inside the field. So they cannot come back because each day there is no day. So like you have 13 days in a district. So like nobody takes seriously. Even if these apps are not working properly, sometimes like there are a lot of bureaucracy comes and so a lot of purchasing problem. Then what happens? They don't give data also. In India nobody gives data. Like if you ask to change, like you geotag these data or their data, everything, they have data but they will not say. Even if the big institute don't share any data. So what exactly we can do research at the ground level? We have ground level validations. We don't have data because there are a lot of problems here with the data. Because the organizations they are buying this LDA, so what will happen? So if it is not working, people will complain. So that's a big problem for them. Okay. So then thing is which we really want for the innovation right here, like last mile connection. I think this is one which everybody talks about. Like what exactly we did. We did what like our university. This is a very small university. We don't have much fund, but I have exposure working outside. So we use cloud computing. Okay. So what we do it at 8 o'clock. So we have a small lab in our university. We develop like four. You can say 4 desktop is required. Nothing else. So what exactly we do? We use 4 meteorological. There are a lot of monitoring agencies, but the government, what the government is doing, they are putting a lot of money in the instrument. This is not required. You have to just synchronize whatever data is available in internet. You synchronize in the morning to develop your own data. Then you have to translate into the local language. Then you send it to the last, and they have to act. If you send this message, what exactly we did when we started? So Tata Foundations came up. They have a lot of industrial activity close in Baleshwar. So they come up like we have 150 villages. A single guy was died. So you just give us these advertising. So do you want money? I said no. We don't require money because we don't require money for these things. Okay, because we said like we have instrument, we'll give you advisory, just give to the people. If like we said, that's okay for us. We don't require any money. So I think in this season we don't have any debt in that 150 kind of thing. And also you can see like what we do, we get all this like you see this is the temporary means hourly data. For next 10 days you can also get this data. So this is where we can, so this is writing activity, what is the probability, what is the rainfall. This is the Doppler radar data which is freely available. Okay, I'm just finishing. This is what we predict. Then this is how we communicate this data. I think this media department, they used to do some, they will develop some audio. So what will happen, we will say that this is the time period where activity will happen, what to do, what not to do. So then what we do, then we are trying to develop. Still in my district, still we have not made it zero. But for that 150 villages, we have made it zero. But still we are trying our best. Like we are trying to put more research in developing some kind of algorithm. Means like at 8 o'clock we can get a reliable data so that people can act on that. So that is all innovation, small innovation. And I think a lot of science technology is required in disaster. I just said one. We work with a lot of we work with forest fire, we work with drought analysis. I've done a lot of works on that, but a lot of innovations is required at the last mile. So even if we think a lot at big institute, but if it doesn't go to the people, so what will happen? Finally, so this death will happen. So bureaucracy people will, or political people, they will just give compensation and they will say, okay, if you see the disaster management side, what they do every day, they will show this much of lightning activity, this much of death, compensation is given. Done. So this is their job. But as a researcher, I think our job is to criticize them. Our job is to really make changes at the ground. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I may request Mr. Sameer Seth to please come forward and address the gathering.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Normally, the topic is the startup in product and services space. As you know, I have worked, I don't have, I have seen, I think, I'm here since morning. I have heard so many dignitaries and all so learned and doctors, PhD, and I think I am not finding myself able to go this stage because we are normal management people. We get job in various multinationals. So I've worked in the companies like ITC, Moana, Mondelez, which is a category brand for now years, 28 plus years in various parts of the country. And now I work as a HR consultant and a change management consultant. uh, in various areas. So we have practical exposure of how we manage the things, what strategies are put at which stages. So when we started, the very important thing aspect we get, what is a startup, and then we move from here to okay in product stage or the service stage. We know that most of the businesses are there, and since generations people are starting business. Dhirubhai Ambani started a business. Kashan Bhai of that Nirma Paint, he has also started business. Many percent. So what's the difference between now then and the Mr. Kamath of Jiroda? What was the difference? My dear colleague, now they are doing a startup. They have built up a $1 billion startup, unicorn, decathlon, and they have done. Mr. Vijay Sharma Shekhar has made a painting. It's a decathlon item now. So when we talk about it, what's the difference between that? So that's understanding. One definition is given as per the Skill India program in that government notification. What is a startup and what they consider as a startup is very clearly given. It should be less than 100 crores. It should not be less than more than 10 years old. So they have given very clear partnership, LLP concern, or it should be a registered partnership. So they have given those certain data. But what I understand, there are two basic things. First, your startup idea should be addressing some existing problem or need or future need. That is the one aspect. Normally, and now when we say call a startup, it may be without technology also, but most of the time, now it's a technology era. 99% of time, the technology is a part of that for that solution. So when we provide a solution, we provide some technology involved into that particular solution. However, it can be without technology also. So that's not happen. Second aspect of the startup is that once it is there, it is scalable and scalable quickly. Earlier also, for example, धीरूभाई अंबानी ने भी स्केल किया और अच्छा छोटा मोटा स्केल लेके बहुत बड़ा स्केल लेवल पे लेके गए. सबने स्केल किया, तो डिफरेंट क्या है? उनको करने में 35 साल लगे, उस स्केल पे आप 2 साल में पहुंचना चाहते हो. तो ये डिफरेंस है. उन्होंने जो पैसा लगाया, फंडिंग इज अ थर्ड चैलेंज, थर्ड डिफरेंशिएटर बिटवीन द नॉर्मल एंटरप्रेन्योर बिजनेस एंड स्टार्टअप. वो जो पैसा लगाया अपने कैपिटल जनरेट करी या बैंक से बोरो किया. जब बिजनेस मैच्योर स्टेज पहुंच गया तभी आईपीओ लेके आते हैं, उस समय इन्वेस्टर के बाहर का मनी लेके आए. ये जो स्टार्टअप है इसमें आज की तारीख में इन्वेस्टर्स अवेलेबल है मार्केट में जो आइडिया स्टेज से ही पैसा लगाने को तैयार हो जाते हैं. आपके अगर अच्छा आइडिया है तो मैं एक एग्जांपल देता हूं. एक ड्रॉप बॉक्स करके एक आपने नाम सुना होगा. ड्रॉप बॉक्स करके एक आता है जहां पे अपना कोई भी डेटा डाल देते हो, देन फाइल यू कैन पिक अप. उसके जो फाउंडर हैं ड्रू होस्टन, हाउ ही गॉट दिस आइडिया. वो आईटी विजार्ड है, काइंड ऑफ थिंग आईटी किड कह सकते हैं. 5 इयर्स से कोडिंग कर रहा है. जब बिजनेस 5 इयर्स ओल्ड का है तब से कोडिंग कर रहा था. ही वाज ट्रैवलिंग इन अ बस. उसको कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट डेटा का मीटिंग जा रहा था, कैरी करना था. 2007 उसको पेन ड्राइव घर पे भूल गया. उसको यार पेन ड्राइव में इतनी इंपॉर्टेंट फाइल जो प्रेजेंटेशन था लगा था पेन ड्राइव. तो उसको उसका दिन पूरा खराब हुआ. देन ही सेड क्या करते हैं, मुझे कुछ ऐसा बना चाहिए कि इसकी जरूरत ही ना पड़े. And at that there is the Dropbox born that day. And because his idea was good, he got on the basis of idea and basics. He got the similar capital, so he got investment also of $1.2 million. So that's the initial funding when you can go for the seed capital or go for the initial funding round. You get that. So that he got, and he launched the product in 2008. So there are various stages of the startup. When the first startup is said, we talk about the ideation, how he got the idea. So first stage of a startup is ideation, conceptualization. When you try to solve, you have to find which problem you are solving, what idea you have, and that you refine. So that is the first stage when you work. And the most important management strategy or the business strategy at that point of time is that get the idea, refine your idea. That's the first stage, and you do that with the help of various tools, with the market validation. You check with the customer, you check with the people, what is the problem, or you have faced the problem yourself. Like in the case of Dropbox, he has faced the problem, and with this approach, you form startups either in the products or towards the product side or the service side. There are various examples, and I give you very established examples. So you must have service startups. You must Raho is a service startup, which is a logistics company which has recently been come up. So either you find some improvement area, some innovation area, some problem in the existing product. You find a need and you create a new product or a different product. And there's a third very important aspect also. You find the established process within the product and find the process gap, you improve the process. And normally where the technologies come in, they are doing the value stream mapping and they are finding where you can replace the manual things with the technology. And so you can disrupt that. With the help of technology, you can reduce the whole process time. And that's many startups are doing. So these are the various areas where you can find out and drop off these startups. So that's the first stage happening. Then it comes the seed stage. The seed stage comes where your market strategy is most important, the market validation. You must have heard the name of the product market fit or the minimum product value. So you find that these are the strategies which has been put at that point of time. So you can make your product right. You may get capital at a point of time. You can use your own capital. You can use your friends' capital, family's capital at that point of time. Because it's become very difficult at that time. Till that time, you may or may not have prototype. You only have idea, and you try to convert into a prototype. A prototype may not be a final one. So that's the thing happened at this stage, at the series stage. Normally, you try to convert your idea into a reality in a pilot or a prototype or those kind of things. That's another series stage. When you move here from a third stage, there is an early stage. From here, you move to early stage. Early stage, when you try to go whatever the prototype you have created in the seed stage or pilot in the stage, try to put it to the market and try to get customers. बिकता है नहीं बिकता, मार्केट में माल लेके जा रहा हूँ, अभी तक तो सब ठीक है, बहुत अच्छा आइडिया, बहुत अच्छा है, मैंने घर पे बहुत अच्छा रिहर्सल कर लिया, ये बहुत चलेगा, लेकिन मार्केट पे गया तो कई बार आपने देखा होगा कोई आप चीज लेके जा रहे हो रास्ते में बिकी नहीं, एक सुबह गए शाम को पे लौट के आए, कुछ नहीं हुआ. तो दैट अर्ली स्टेज जब आप धीमे धीमे कस्टमर फोकस करते हो, इसमें आपकी गो टू मार्केट स्ट्रेटजी आप बनाते हो, जो 5 स्ट्रेटजीज बनती हैं, ठीक है, आप यूनिट इकोनॉमिक्स के ऊपर काम करते हो कि मेरा यूनिट इकोनॉमिक्स ठीक है, ये सुना ग्रॉस मार्जिन, मेरा मार्जिन रहेगा नहीं रहेगा, रेवेन्यू कहां से, तो इसके ऊपर आप थोड़ा सा इसके ऊपर भी काम करते हो. इसमें मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, यू मे नॉट गेट टू मेनी कस्टमर्स बट यू गेट द मार्केट प्रोडक्ट एंड यू नो कि दिस इज द राइट प्रोडक्ट, दैट विल बी वेरी हेल्पफुल टू गेट द इन्वेस्टर्स. तो आपका मेजर फोकस होता है कि प्रोडक्ट को ठीक करके मार्केट से कुछ रीच बना के जिसमें हम एक इन्वेस्टर को सेटिस्फाई कर सके और उससे वी कैन गेट सम फंडिंग जिससे कि हम आगे बढ़ सके. बिकॉज इस स्टेज तक तो आप पैसा लगा सकते हो, बट इसके बाद अगर आपको स्केल करना पड़ेगा तो आप स्टार्टअप हो, आप एक शॉप के बिजनेसमैन नहीं हो कि आपने एक शॉप खोल ली, जैसे एमबीए चाय वाला है, उसको अगर एक चाय की दुकान खोलनी, टपरी खोलनी है, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, वो खोल लेगा, घर के बाहर जाएगा, कहीं ठेला लेगा, 1 लाख में खोल लेगा. लेकिन उसको अगर पूरे इंडिया में 1000 शॉप्स खोलनी है तो यहाँ उसको फंडिंग चाहिए होगी, तो उसको एक टपरी खोल के क्या उसका मॉडल है, किसी इन्वेस्टर को बेचना होगा, बताना पड़ेगा. दिस इज द अर्ली स्टेज व्हेन ही सेट अप द वन टपरी एंड द हिज बिजनेस मॉडल, हाउ ही विल गेट प्रॉफिट एंड मनी, एंड देन ही गो टू इन्वेस्टर एंड डू दैट. So that is the first stage. Then you go to growth stage where you get the money, you go and open suddenly 35 stores, 40 stores, 50 stores, you go that. And after that stage, the last stage is the maturity stage, or the business stage where you reach up to the final stage. I will speed up if she has come here, so I know that she will indicate the speed of the things. So that's the final stage where you go and do the, and at that time when you reach the maturity stage, the established business, there is a different and different HR processes are required at the growth stage or scaling stage. You already require various performance measures, the teams, team structures, org structures, all those things you start requiring at that point of time because you are converting people orientation to process orientation. So all that happened, and that's the way how you move forward. And at the time of finally you can bring your IPO at final stages. Various strategies are required in each and every stage. So one strategy will not work. You can go forth and come and forth and forth. You can keep doing that as per your the market feedback, and that is very important. So at this point of time, I would just like to stop here only for the last one.
Thank you so much, sir. Moving further, I would like to invite Mr. Ankit Shukla, CEO of Hello PM. Mr. Ankit Shukla is an alumni of college of ABP IITM from IPG batch 210 to 2015. He is currently the founder of an edtech company called Hello PM where they help people learn practical product management. The alumni of Hello PM are now leading product management at companies like Microsoft, Craig, Amazon, Visa, ICICI, Access, and 100 plus more organizations. Before this, in his corporate career, he has worked with multiple hyper-growth startup. As she knows, he was a heading product management and growth. At Int Money, he was handling product growth. At Scalar Academy, he was heading a popular product called Interview. Sir, please come forward and address the gathering.
I know I would be the most hated guy because I'm standing between the last thing of the day and then a break out there. But I'll try to make it very concise for you guys. As Mr. Sameer, he was taking the stage and he was saying that he was humbled by so many people who are coming on the stage. They were full of accomplishments and all, and I was thinking in my mind, just hold my beer, I'm also coming. So that was the fact. So yes. So I'll go ahead and I'll since I belong to a domain of product management, I've been an entrepreneur for some years now. And before I became an entrepreneur, I was working for a few of the companies to make sure that I'm able to gather some knowledge before get the foot into the river out there. So in college also I was an entrepreneur and I worked with Manoj Dasar very closely, and this is not the first time when I'm standing on the stage. I think I've sitting there hundreds of times here, 4-5 times and all. So I'll not bother you with so many things, there are so many things that I can tell you, there are such a long story out there. But I'll tell you one major important thing, since the talk is about entrepreneurship. So there is one thing that I have learned across all of these years, not only I, but if you go ahead and take any entrepreneur in the world, any successful entrepreneur in the world, you take Bill Gates, you take Elon Musk, or any of the Indian names that you take, these guys can go ahead and they can differ on many points. Mr. Narayan Murthy might say that you have to work for 70 hours, while maybe the CEO of Google might say that you have to seek for a work-life balance. Zerodha might say that you can go ahead and create a bootstrap company, and while Byju's might say that you need to raise a lot of money in order to scale. There are conflicting opinions, but there is one opinion that I was able to find by working with so many people, by reading so many books and talking to so many people out there, that there is one thing that is common across everyone, and which we call it as customer obsession. Which is no matter you are coming from a technical background, non-technical background, you have money, you do not have money. Everything can be figured out unless you have a customer obsession. A customer obsession is all about understanding how your customer behaves and what does he exactly wants from your product out there. So most of the times we see that yes, people have product, but they are looking to put a lot of money into the product, but it's not working. And the reason is generally that people do not go ahead, people are not finding that kind of problem in their lives. So I'll tell you 3 stories how I was able to go ahead and talk back with customer obsession and try to make sure that I was able to scale the company. So in my first company when I was working, initially I was an entrepreneur when I started my career in 2017 after I put in my company. So the company was Shiro's and we were making a social network for women, like an app, but only for women, because women can go ahead and they can interact with each other. And the problem was that although I was heading the product growth over there, I had no idea about how women are behaving in their life and how can I go ahead and become a product manager over there. So what we used to do was we hired a bunch of women, and we also made sure that we were visiting tier 2, 3 cities such as Indore, Surat, multiple cities in Rajasthan and Odisha and all, to make sure that each and every one of our product manager or team member is going ahead and interacting with these females. And we also make sure that if you guys are if your moms would surely be reading these books such as Sarita, Grace, Shobha, Vanita in their homes out there. So we as product manager have to make sure that we are reading these books in order to make sure that we can empathize with the audience, we can understand that. Second, when I worked with this company known as ID Money. ID Money is an app which can help you manage your network. Initially, when I joined the company, it was only for high net worth individuals, which was people who have more than a net worth of 10 CR. And after that, we were able to, so they're also the same problem that I was not from that particular category. So I made sure that I was able to go ahead and maybe connect with these kind of people who are visiting their homes during in the corona time to develop that customer empathy. And eventually, when I am working at this company like Hello PM, here also we make sure that we are talking with each and every individual, understanding them before going ahead and taking the solutions for the same. Okay. If you guys are really interested into going ahead and doing a startup of your own, I would, before you go ahead and read about funding, before you go ahead and read about technology or anything, I would generally recommend you to go ahead and read a book known as Mom's Test, because it has been helpful for us to scale the company. So just to share the numbers of the company, I started the company along with my job where we were doing about 10 lakh rupees for around 1 year. then we made 50, then we made around 5 CR this year, and that is only because of one thing, which is customer obsession. The markets are going down, companies are not getting funded, but still we are a bootstrap profitable startup because of one thing, which is customer obsession and not unnecessary scale. So that is it from me, guys. I have tried to keep it short. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now that we have gained insights from our speaker, it's time to deepen the conversation with our upcoming panel discussion. I would request Professor Manoj Patwardhan of Management Department, our session coordinator, to please conduct the panel discussion question and answers round.
So thank you very much, speakers. What I would say as a moderator will know, we understand that what Dr. Naranjan has talked about, the research and the product development go hand in hand, because the way he was doing the research on lighting, that's a really commendable job, sir. And then can we make some products to understand that how lighting can be judged beforehand and the lives would be saved. That's a great research that you have been doing. The second speaker, Samir Seth, has talked about how the product attains its life cycle, right from introduction to growth to maturity and decline. And then gradually we can mix the product and services and understand that the life cycle should be attained by the each and every product and services. And the third speech given by Ankit. Ankit is an alumnus of the city of Lightning. But it is handled three very important portfolio. And then we understand that ultimately the bottom line for any product or services is the customer. And customer in two senses that we understand his psyche, we understand his behavior, and how different products is being viewed by the customers differently, or maybe the intention which the products are being manufactured is customer taking the same products in the right spirit. I mean, there are a number of examples. I understand taking clue from Ankit is that when this washing machine was launched, and the washing machine is meant for washing the clothes. But if you go to maybe Haryana and Punjab, lassis are being prepared in the washing machines and all. So you never know how customers are going to behave. That's a very good example, and Ankit has talked about. Now, may I ask the panel can dwell into specifically into what kind of startups or entrepreneurship or product maybe is required in 21st century? And to begin with, is networking is required in today's startups kind of thing? So if I can start with something.
Yes, I think networking is the key thing. Because like he said, when you become a product manager or a woman engagement networking, probably not have any idea of the product, what is or the customers. So networking may happen not only with your peers, it may happen with your customers, with your all stakeholders. So you understand there, and that's why I probably when I talk about speaking the listening organization. The listening organization, the listening person, that's very become very important when you have networking, because you listen so many things to them, and then you understand their gaps, you understand their expectations, their needs, and based on that you work on the startup or you work on your various product design. All those things.
Your view, Dr.
So I can say like this, so if you want to translate research into any startup, so exactly we require a lot of collaborations. Like when I say lightning, so there is a technology which is coming up, lightning arrestor or conductor. So we require a lot of collaborations, and they require our input also, like who has the capacity to buy that arrestor, because you have to customize that particular thing. So you require, I think, a lot of collaborations and networking is required, not only at the research level, at also you can see like at the last mile also. It's very difficult. Means when you develop your product, as I said, this is a societal product, not a industrial product. So if you want to send to particular community, so they have to act. So that's a difficulty. So that is why in case of last mile connection, if you like, usually scientific world say last mile connection is like reaching last dots. These are not happening in the ground level. So really a lot of changes or networking has to be made. Then only changes will happen.
I think networking is super important. And I would also like try to balance networking, because what happens is that there has to be a purpose for networking, and there should always be a two-side networking. For example, when I'm talking to my customer, I'm understanding that in return I'll create a product for them so that they can make their lives better. So whenever you're trying to network, make sure that it should be like, I would from my perspective, I think it should be like two-way networking, and also it should be purpose-driven. I understand nothing would happen in silo in today's connected world, so you have to be making sure that you're networking with the right kind of people for collaboration and so many things out there. However, you also have to keep a balance that if you have to focus on creating a product, it might take time, and maybe networking could be one component, but it's not the complete component of the same. So you also have to work on other aspects of the product as well.
So thank you very much for the kind of deliberation that you talked about. I think I'll take one more session time question for that to understand. So in true sense, I think it is Amrit for the entrepreneurship and the startups, as the title talked about. But in spite of all good things, there are some limitations and challenges that entrepreneurs are facing. I am told that just one of the important aspects is that out of every 100 startups or entrepreneurship, 60% startups fails, or people who are not willing to take up this important way. So can specifically you can share that what are the basic challenges that any entrepreneur or startup basically faces besides finance?
So what happens when revenue is besides that, the finance is I think one of the key important aspect. Apart from that, second aspect is that the product. What I think, because what we think is a great product. And there are various examples. Joycer is one company who have come up with a juice. You can extract the juice without touching anything from your hand and right from the farms and all those things. They got a $12 million funding also. But within 4 years, they put the product, the $800 product a piece, and they are reduced to $400, and they within 4 years they shut. So they understand that there is a product, but there are two important things which I said, jump. That is a brand. You create a brand. But before that, you should have a product which is a basic. If you don't have a product, you can't create a brand. So without say, when we say Atma is brand, it goes without saying that product is the base of that. तो अगर आइसिंग ऑन द केक या ब्रेड इज आइसिंग ऑन द केक तो केक तो भैया चाहिए ना खाने के लिए अगर केक नहीं है तो आइसिंग इज बेकार यूजलेस so that product is a cake and that's why I think many companies they fail to understand market expectation because they think हमने ये बनाया है आप ले लो so when you say that हमने बनाया है आप ले लो so whatever we have made you take it so and this becomes very important what you need tell me I will give you and that's how क्या कहते हैं things I think is important one of that.
So for me, I think our product is like translating reliable data into information. So you, because when you are creating this information as a product, so like you are monitoring something which is very uncertain because every day things are changing and there are something globally connected, El Nino, La Nino, or some kind of seasonal kind of things. So it's very difficult to get reliable data. Then again you synchronize. Then again the part is then you have to translate into some local language that product. Then you send to the people. They have to be aware and they have that. So limitation is like in our university side, like we develop the lab, we develop skill. I think the accuracy is 80% because the lightning activity doesn't happen for 20%. So the people will be indifferent. Then that again increases. So these are I think limitations which scientific world. Like think we don't require money because it's a very free or kind of society. We don't look into that aspect. We look like something which should be used if like our like advisory which we develop in our lab. If it can save few lives, that makes a difference. Thank you.
I think for me the major reason apart from finances and not creating a product that your users would want is expectation mismatch, which is a lot of the entrepreneurs we see that they are entering into product management. They are entering into entrepreneurship and they think that maybe they'll be able to make some money or some product or something within 3, 4, 6 months or even 3, 4, 5, 6 years. But the tenure is generally which you cannot decide, and I think that is a mis-expectation, and that is why most of the people are quitting too soon. And similarly, because of this, their understanding is also different. Which is I'll focus on all of the R&D on the product, and then one day I'll take like 1 year to go ahead and produce this product, then just to find launch in the market that no, this is not working, and that period of time, finance is another issue that also grappling with them. So I think expectation mismatch and not having the right planning could be an issue.
I think we are almost coming to the fag end of this. So before we call off, any quick question from the audience if you have specific questions? That will be most welcome. Otherwise, we'll call off today's. Is there any specific question from the audience? Yeah.
Sure. So Ankit, you talked a lot about customer obsession. Now, especially when we deal with student-led startups in a highly technical institute like this, you see that there's a lot of enthusiasm in ideation, in developing services, but it doesn't translate to the same obsession when it goes to the customer. As an educational institute, how do we handle that? And on the same note, you talked about the students, the startup founders quitting too soon. So that's also what happens in student-led startup. So with your history, how do we encourage the students to get to the second startup if the first one didn't get the results that they expected?
Yeah, so I think that's a question that I have not only faced but have been through that situation multiple times. So my answer would be set up micro goals, which is if you're setting up micro goals for yourself, as in when I started Gwalior 7 with the help of all of the community in the college out there. So what I did was, rather than making sure that I'll be able to go ahead and become the biggest company in Gwalior or I'll be able to do this thing, my intention was very simple. If I'm able to sell, get 2 orders in this particular week, I should be okay. So yes, the industry should work on outcomes. We should be producing the outcomes in terms of money and everything. But control on what you can. Can you create maybe a 1 week or 2 week plan for yourself? And if you're able to do it, that gives you positive motivation. And then if the system can support it, that yes, I have been very fortunate to have Manoj sir with me, Anurag sir with me, and Joydeep sir with me, who have been able to every week I will give them these kind of updates. They'll go ahead and they will always greet me, and that has been a great support for me. I believe everyone should get this kind of support.
Yeah, I think you go ahead.
Sir, how do we make our team for the effective startups?
This question is to whom?
Sir, for everyone.
So I'll tell you, in order, so understand, you have to be a magnet. Okay, people will not work for you just because you want them to work for you. So first of all, you should be able to share what you are creating. That is step number 0. If you are not able to share, then there would be an issue. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing is, I think you should be able to convert yourself into a magnet, which is be clear about your idea. Okay, and try to understand the other person's perspective. For example, if you have identified that in my team, I need these 2 people. What do you bring them for? Okay, what is there on the table for them? And then you think about yourself. Okay, and once the incentives are right, then you can do the same. The good part is that if you are a student, if you are looking for other students, then students also work for some kind of exposure of work, proof of work, some kind of certifications. Then it could be helping for you. So even this day, because of good people management skills, we have been able to go ahead and do a revenue of almost 5 CR with LOPM only with 4 people. That is because we are able to understand their incentives rather than having a lot of people, hire few people and pay them very, very well. So think of the other person rather than only think about yourself. That will help.
Thank you so much, sir.
So this is the last question. I think you have a question. The last question.
Good evening, everybody. So my name is Akshay. I am from first year and IPG also. So I have a startup plan from 9th class or 10th class on. So the startup is something like that, Locatro, something called app, which is service-based startup. So it is kind of Ola and Uber, but different from it. So in that startup, that I generally locate the route or the cab service. If there are very many tempo services going inside the city. So what I do is if I want to go from point A to point B, we have to change very many vehicles. From point A to point B, there are very many stops from point D, E, and so we have to go from point A to B and B to C, from C to D, from different time. For a new person like me, if I'm going I'm in this city and I don't know the public transport situation in this city. So what I do is I generally take Uber or something like this, and which costs much more. But by using these services, it can cost approximately 10% of that cost. So what is my plan? That I generally locate that by using just GPS technology and the technology, I generally locate the route and tell the route to the customer that this is the route and this is the money you can spend and from point A to point B. And this is the whole startup, the base of the startup idea. And there are very many things related to it. But the general conception I get that you should first get the corporate experience, then start the business. But I have a business mindset from my childhood. Being an alumni, sir, I want to ask how could I start this startup, or I should start it now or wait for the job experience or something like that.
यार मैं एक तुम्हें वर्ड में आंसर दूंगा, कर दो, राइट? बस कर दो, think about everything else later, okay? Because the idea is very simple. तुम्हें पता है कि you can create like a simple app, एक वेब ऐप तुम बनाओगे, you'll be able to do it. तो इतना सोच क्यों रहे हो? आगे बढ़ो और अपने आंख और कान खुले रखो. What the customer is saying, what the business is saying. Listen to this and then keep on iterating. You don't know, you might be able to create like a better Uber or better Ola tomorrow, but you have to start. वरना 4-5 साल के बाद तो नहीं करोगे यार. वो टाइम पे खर्चे भी नहीं थे, कुछ शादी भी नहीं हुई थी और कुछ नौकरी भी नहीं करनी थी. उस समय कर लेता तो अच्छा होता. But you are going to do it right now, तो कम खर्चे में सब कुछ होगा. People are even going to support you.
What an uplifting and productive session it has been. We extend our sincere gratitude to all the speakers, panelists, and participants for making this conference a great success. We have a token of appreciation from our side. I would request Professor Patwardhan sir to represent the panelists with mementos present over here.
So before offering the small gift and token of love, I really thank you from the core of my heart, the panelists, the way they spoke about, deliberated. I'm sure some of the answers might have been suitable, the most suited for the audience. So thank you very much, the panelists. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.